Chapter 3992. Hee, if it's just me, you can indeed refuse. However, if all of us ask you to let go of your divine soul, do you dare to refuse? Heavenly Devil Evil King revealed an evil smile as he looked at Gui Jing with a profound gaze. Gui Jing sneered and said, "Our 4 Shenzhen forces have always been stronger than your 3 demon clans. You want me to let go of my divine soul just because you want me to? What a fool's dream." Heavenly Devil Evil King's smile became wider and wider as he said, "It's not just our 3 demon clans that want you to do this. Look at the other 3. It was only then that Gui Jing noticed that the Celestial Star Saint Master and the other 2 were tempted. They looked at him with a strange gaze. "Heavenly Devil Evil King, shut up. Don't compare us to your 3 demon clans." Long Duzi shouted at Heavenly Devil Evil King, and then looked at Gui Jing and said gently, "Sect Master Gui, don't worry. We won't be in cahoots with the 3 demon clans. The 4 of us have known each other for many years. You should trust the 3 of us. Let go of your divine soul and let the 3 of us check it. Look, this will prove your innocence." Sect Master Gui, don't worry. You can trust our characters. We won't do anything to hurt you. We can swear to the heavens. Goddess Qinghuan also persuaded. Gui Jing's face was pale. He looked at Goddess Qinghuan and Long Duzi in disbelief. How could these 2 make such an outrageous request so casually? "Heavenly Star Saint Lord, do you think so too?" Gui Jing looked at the silent Heavenly Star Saint Lord with a hopeful look. Heavenly Star Saint Lord was recognized as the strongest among the 4 Shenzhen. His status was the highest among the 4, and his words had the most weight. As long as Heavenly Star Saint Lord objected, Goddess Qinghuan and Long Duzi wouldn't dare to oppose. Heavenly Star Saint Lord looked at Gui Jing silently and said, "Sect Master Gui, I think Goddess Qinghuan and Long Duzi are right. This is the only way for you to get rid of suspicion. You and I are the same kind of people. You should trust us. We won't hurt you." Gui Jing's face was pale as despair flashed in his eyes. He knew that if Heavenly Star Saint Lord said so, he wouldn't be able to change the outcome. The 3 demon clans' heads looked at everything coldly. They exchanged glances and secretly communicated with each other to attack Zhuowen, who was beside Gui Jing, the Celestial Star Saint Master, and the others were very smart. They surrounded Gui Jing from 3 different angles and completely protected her. The 3 of them simply couldn't take advantage of this opportunity. Therefore, they targeted Zhuowen. They all sensed that Zhuowen's aura was not very stable, and since he was with Gui Jing, he must have seen the truth of what had happened here. Just as the Celestial Star Sacred Master and the other 2's attention were all on Gui Jing, the 3MO family had suddenly made their move. Instantly, demonic qi filled the sky, and the sky within tens of thousands of miles was enveloped in terrifying demonic qi. The Celestial Star Sacred Master and the other 2 immediately felt the terrifying devil qi. They immediately released their own auras, intending to deal with the attacks of the 3 devil clans. But soon, they realized that the 3 demon clans weren't targeting them. Their target was Zhuowen, whom they had neglected. "Heavenly Star Saint Lord, we won't fight with you for Gui Jing, but we want this little guy. If you don't agree, we don't mind starting a war with you." The Heavenly Fiend Evil King's voice was heard. The 3 people who were planning to use their strength to block the 3 demon clans had stopped when they heard the Heavenly Fiend Evil King's words. They only cared about Gui Jing. They didn't care about the young man beside him. They didn't care about Zhuowen's life or death. Despicable. When Gui Jing saw this, he subconsciously wanted to attack. However, he was stopped by Heavenly Star Saint Lord and the others. "Sect Master Gui, It's better if you don't get involved. The 3 demon clans' heads have joined forces. You'll be courting death if you go, Long Duzi said. Gui Jing's face was gloomy, and his heart was burning with anger. The 3 of them were too much. He had treated them as fellow cultivators. Now, they fell out with him, just because of suspicion. Their speed was faster than flipping a book. However, Gui Jing thought of Zhuowen's strange divine demon. Perhaps Zhuowen could stop the 3 demon clans' heads. Gui Mozi and the hybrid demon king's cultivation were similar to Gui Jing's. They were both in the late stage of the divine demon transformation realm. He knew that the 2 of them weren't a match for him. However, the heavenly fiend evil king was a pinnacle expert in the divine demon transformation realm. He was comparable to heavenly star Saint Lord and was a difficult opponent to deal with. Originally, when Zhuowen saw the actions of the celestial star Saint Master and the other 2, he felt extremely disgusted. He wanted to help Gui Jing out of the situation, but he did not expect the 3 Mo family heads to join forces and attack him. You're courting death. Zhuowen's eyes were cold as his body surged with divine demon energy. Although he had just reached the divine demon transformation realm, the divine demon energy in his body was extremely strong. Even Gui Jing couldn't compare. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3 demon clans' heads were extremely fast. They arrived in front of Zhuowen in the blink of an eye. The first to attack was Gui Mozi. Devil Qi surged from Gui Mozi's body. Behind the endless devil Qi, a huge divine demon appeared. Gui Mozi's divine demon was extremely strange. Its entire body was a huge ball of flesh. On the surface of the ball of flesh, there were countless ferocious faces. Each face was different. It's Gui Mozi's divine demon, thousand-faced demon god. It's said that every time Gui Mozi killed someone, his divine demon god would devour the face of the person he killed and appear on his body. Now, this thousand-faced demon god will have another face. Gui Mozi laughed sinisterly as his eyes flashed with a bloodthirsty light. The heavenly fiend evil king and the hybrid demon king blocked Zhuowen's path of retreat. They didn't plan to attack. After all, Zhuowen's aura wasn't strong. He wasn't qualified for the 3 of them to join forces. Gui Mozi, don't go overboard. Just cripple him. After checking his soul, you can kill him however you want, but you can't kill him now. The heavenly fiend evil king said coldly. Gui Mozi laughed and said, "Don't worry, heavenly fiend evil king. Although I'm bloodthirsty, I know my limits." After saying that, Gui Mozi took a step forward and rushed towards Zhuowen. He punched out with his right fist. At the same time, the thousand-faced demon god surrounded Zhuowen from behind. The 1,000 faces let out a sharp sound that affected his soul and consciousness. Zhuowen's eyes were calm. He didn't even release his divine demon god. His right hand turned into a claw and grabbed at Gui Mozi. The rolling divine demon god's power surged. Then he suddenly exerted force and broke Gui Mozi's fist. Then his hand grabbed Gui Mozi's head. "You want to kill me? That depends on whether you have the ability or not." After saying that, the divine demon god's power in Zhuowen's right hand exploded. Gui Mozi didn't even have time to scream before his head exploded. At the same time, Zhuowen took out the purple gold sword embryo and slashed at the 1,000-faced demon god behind him. The terrifying sword Qi instantly cut the 1,000-faced demon god into countless pieces. Chapter 3993. This guy is dead for sure. The heavenly star Saint Lord shook his head and said indifferently when he saw the 3 demon family heads attack. Celestial Maiden Qinghuan and Long Duzi also nodded in deep agreement. Although they could also see that Zhuowen was also an expert of the fiend god transformation stage, but from his aura, they could see that this child was only at the early stage of the fiend god transformation stage. Such a cultivation in the Li Yuan main region could be considered an expert who could dominate a region. However, as the 7 strongest experts in the Li Yuan main region, Zhuowen's cultivation was not necessarily worthy of their attention. Moreover, the 3 demon family heads had joined forces. They did not think that Zhuowen could survive. Suddenly, the heavenly star Saint Lord's expression froze. His eyes were filled with disbelief as he looked ahead. How is this possible? The heavenly star Saint Lord blurted out. Lady Qingwan and Long Duzi were stunned. Then they followed the heavenly star Saint Lord's gaze and looked over. The 2 of them froze when they saw that Gui Mozi was dead. He was killed in one move. The person who killed Gui Mozi was none other than Zhuowen, whom they did not think highly of from the beginning. At this moment, Zhuowen stood proudly in the void. His right hand was holding Gui Mozi's headless corpse. His indifferent gaze fell on the heavenly devil demon king and the hybrid demon king, who were equally shocked. Did I provoke you? Why did you attack me? Zhuowen's voice was very calm, but it was filled with intense coldness and killing intent. The heavenly devil demon king and the hybrid demon king could not help but tremble. Their eyes were filled with fear. Although Gui Mozi was the weakest among the 3 of them, he was still in the late stage of the divine demon transformation realm. Even the strongest heavenly devil demon king could not kill Gui Mozi with one move as easily as Zhuowen. Speak, are the 2 of you mute? Zhuowen's cold gaze fell on the heavenly devil demon king and the hybrid demon king. He shouted softly. His voice was like rolling thunder. It was loud and terrifying. My friend, it's a misunderstanding. It's all a misunderstanding. It's all because this devil child wants to deal with you. It has nothing to do with us. The hybrid demon king revealed an ugly smile. Although the hybrid devil king was stronger than ghost demon child, there was a limit to how strong they were. If Zhuowen could easily kill ghost demon child, it would not be difficult for him to kill him. The heavenly devil demon king's face turned gloomy. He was the leader of the 3 heavenly devil patriarchs. His strength was at the peak of the Li Yuan main domain. How could he put down his face and beg Zhuowen for mercy? Misunderstanding. Zhuowen sneered, but his eyes fell on the heavenly devil evil king and asked sarcastically, You also think this is a misunderstanding? Heavenly devil evil king cupped his fists and said in a deep voice, Fellow Taoist, I am heavenly devil clan's patriarch, heavenly devil evil king. I believe you have heard of my name. How about this? The reason why we attacked you was to check your soul. If you do me a favor and let me examine your soul, we will not pursue the matter. You killed the devil child. Of course, I will swear to the heavenly Tao that I will never harm your soul. Heavenly devil evil king understood that Zhuowen's strength was not ordinary, so his tone softened, but he did not apologize. Instead, he planned to check Zhuowen's soul. Heavenly devil evil king believed that even if his strength was not enough to defeat Zhuowen, it would be difficult for Zhuowen to defeat him. In addition, he also had the help of the hybrid devil king. He felt that no matter how strong Zhuowen was, he would not be a match for the 2 of them. You want me to let you search my soul? However, Zhuowen smiled. Then, a terrifying killing intent erupted from his eyes. You simply don't know how the word death is written. With that, Zhuowen took a step forward and rushed towards the heavenly devil evil king. Surging divine devil power spread around his body like a wave, forming a violent purple airflow. Humph! No matter how strong you are, can you be stronger than me and the hybrid devil king? Heavenly devil evil king coldly snorted, and also erupted with a powerful divine devil power, and a huge divine devil phantom appeared behind him. Heavenly Devil Evil King's divine devil phantom was an armored warrior covered in blood chi, holding a huge blood blade. The smell of blood emitted from its body was extremely strong, sweeping through the entire space. Boom! Zhuowen's speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived, and then heavily collided with Heavenly Devil Evil King, causing a terrifying energy explosion. Then, Heavenly Devil Evil King groaned, and could not help but retreat more than 10 steps, while Zhuowen retreated a few steps. Hybrid Devil King, what are you still standing there for? Join hands with me to capture this child. The reason why this child could easily kill the Devil Child is because the Devil Child underestimated him too much. Heavenly Devil Evil King quickly shouted. Hybrid Devil King saw that Zhuowen was actually repelled. Although Heavenly Devil Evil King retreated more, this meant that the gap between them was not too big. Hee. Boy, it was not a misunderstanding that we dealt with you just now. We did it on purpose. Your time of death has come. Hybrid Devil King sneered, and also released the divine devil from his body. Hybrid Devil King's divine devil is an old woman in white with disheveled hair, like a female ghost, extremely sinister and terrifying. Let's attack together. If we join hands, this child is definitely not a match. Heavenly Devil Evil King called out to Hybrid Devil King, and once again rushed towards Zhuowen, while Hybrid Devil King chased after, and joined hands with Heavenly Devil Evil King. 2 terrifying divine devils stepped on the air and came from another direction to surround Zhuowen. The terrifying devil chi was so dense that it was almost solid. The entire sea was shrouded in black fog, and it was impossible to see the surrounding scenery clearly. Zhuowen calmly stood in the middle of the black fog. He shook his head and said, "Truly 2 reckless fellows." With that, Zhuowen released his divine devil, and suddenly a terrifying aura swept out, as if the entire sky was trembling because of it. In the void behind him, a purple tree that reached the heavens, and the earth appeared. This tree is too huge, as if it is connected to heaven and earth, and the surrounding dense black fog. The moment the purple tree appeared, all dispersed, and on the purple tree, a purple fruit cracked open, and the 3-headed 6-armed divine devil appeared again, and then bared its fangs and brandished its claws towards Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King's 2 divine devils. Then Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King saw an inconceivable scene. The moment their divine devils saw the 3-headed 6-armed divine devil, they let out a terrified cry, and then quickly fled. And at this moment, Zhuowen also made his move. He appeared in front of Heavenly Devil Evil King, and his fists bombarded Heavenly Devil Evil King's body like a storm. Heavenly Devil Evil King roared, and fought with Zhuowen with all his might. But soon, he discovered that his attack was like a paper in front of Zhuowen, unable to withstand a single blow. After his attack was broken, Zhuowen's fists unceremoniously landed on his chest. The terrifying power exploded, and his body exploded into a bloody mist. And Zhuowen also took out the purple gold sword embryo and slashed at the Hybrid Devil King on the other side. Chapter 3994. Boom! Zhuowen suddenly punched out, directly penetrating the Heavenly Devil Evil King's body. The Heavenly Devil Evil King let out a mournful scream and fell from the sky, smashing into the Black Sea. However, the Heavenly Devil Evil King was too powerful, and his aura was vigorous. Therefore, many of the giant beasts and evil spirits in the Black Sea didn't dare to get close to the Heavenly Devil Evil King, even though the Heavenly Devil Evil King was heavily injured and didn't even have the strength to move a finger. At the same time, the Hybrid Demon King let out a blood-curdling scream. His 4 limbs were cut off by the purple gold sword embryo. His body was full of bloody holes, and he also fell into the Black Sea. Zhuowen looked down at the 2 great devils lying on the surface of the Black Sea, their auras weak, and said indifferently, "You want me to open my divine soul for you to check? Are you worthy?" The heavenly star, Saint Master's side, was silent. Whether it was the heavenly star, Saint Master, Lady Qinghuan, or Long Duzi, they were all shocked by this scene. The three demon family heads worked together, but one was killed, and the other two were severely injured. Was this guy still human? Another two blood-curdling screams attracted the attention of the heavenly star Saint Master and the others. They then realized that the three-headed, six-armed god, released by Zhuowen, had caught up with the hybrid demon king and the sky devil demon king's god. It tore the two gods into pieces and swallowed them into its stomach. What kind of god is this? It actually swallowed other gods. Lady Qinghuan's beautiful eyes were filled with fear. She could not help but blurt out, "The heavenly star, Saint Master," and Long Duzi also revealed a look of fear. After the two fiend gods were devoured by the three-headed six-armed fiend god, the heavenly fiend evil king and hybrid demon king suffered a backlash from the fiend god. They spat out mouthfuls of blood and almost fainted. Their auras were also rapidly weakening. The most important thing for a cultivator of the fiend god transformation realm was the gods and demons they nurtured. That was their foundation. If the gods and demons were destroyed, it was equivalent to their foundation being destroyed. The Sky Devil Demon King and the Hybrid Demon King's strength would greatly decrease. They would not even be comparable to an ordinary cultivator of the Fiend God transformation realm. The Sky Devil Demon King and the Hybrid Demon King had a look of despair. They knew that they were finished. With their foundation destroyed, they had no hope of advancing in the future. They secretly regretted in their hearts. Why did they have to provoke this kid? If they had not been so arrogant and greedy, how could they have ended up like this? "Sir, we are willing to submit to you and become your slaves. We only hope that you will spare our lives." The heavenly demon, Evil King's face was filled with bitterness. When he felt the killing intent in Zhuowen's eyes, he was terrified and begged for mercy. The hybrid demon king also quickly agreed and expressed his willingness to submit to Zhuowen. Celestial Star Saint Lord and the others were dumbfounded. Who was the heavenly demon Evil King? He was a magnate that was not any weaker than Celestial Star Saint Lord. Now, he was beaten into submission and even had to submit to Zhuowen. Zhuowen indifferently looked at Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King. He thought for a moment and nodded, "Give me your divine soul imprints." Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King were quite strong. Taking them in would not be a bad thing for him. The Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King did not hesitate to give up their divine soul imprints. Then they struggled to get up and came to Zhuowen's side respectfully. Although Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King were heavily injured, their recovery abilities were very strong. Heavenly Devil Evil King's chest, which was pierced through by Zhuowen, had already started to stop bleeding, and his flesh and blood had started to wriggle and close. As for the Hybrid Demon King's limbs that were cut off, he used some kind of secret technique to regrow them. However, looking at his pale face, one could tell that the Hybrid Demon King had paid a heavy price to use this secret technique. Zhuowen then turned to look at Celestial Star Saint Lord and the others and said indifferently, "I will give the three of you two choices. Either you die or you release them." The Heavenly Star Saint Lord and the other two shuddered as they looked at Zhuowen with fear. Zhuowen was no longer an ordinary fiend god transformation realm cultivator. He was someone who could defeat the Heavenly Demon King and force him to submit. "We will release them now. Just now, we were just chatting with sect leader Gui. We had no intention of holding them hostage." Long Duzi quickly said, Although Celestial Star, Saint Lord, and Qinghuan female, Celestial did not say anything. They moved aside and no longer blocked Guijing's path. Zhuowen was too powerful. It was not wise to offend such an expert just because they wanted to hold Guijing hostage. Guijing quickly left Celestial Star, Saint Lord, and the others and came to Zhuowen's side. She said excitedly, "Daowen, I knew you were strong, but I did not expect you to be this strong. You really surprised me. You are indeed a hero from a young age. Sect Leader Gui, are you not going to introduce this friend to us?" Celestial Star, Saint Lord coughed and smiled faintly. Guijing looked coldly at Celestial Star, Saint Lord, and said coldly, "Daowen is the Hanwu Shengzhen's vice sect leader." Celestial Star, Saint Lord, and the others were stunned, and their expressions turned ugly. They did not expect Zhuowen to be one of Hanwu Shengzhen's men. Moreover, he was the vice sect leader. With Zhuowen's terrifying strength, wouldn't Hanwu Shengzhen completely surpass the three great Shengzhen in the future? What made them even more fearful was that Zhuowen had also subdued the heavenly devil evil king and the hybrid demon king. Although these two divine demons had been defeated and their strength had decreased greatly, the three demon clans were still very powerful. This force would be used by Hanwu Shengzhen in the future, who would be able to compete with Hanwu Shengzhen. Brother Daowen, for a talent like you to only be the Hanwu Shengzhen's vice sect leader, you are simply wronged. How about this? If you join my Celestial Shengzhen, you will be on the same level as me. You have to know that the Celestial Shengzhen is the strongest force among the four Shengzhen. You joining my Celestial Shengzhen is the best choice. Your future is limitless. Celestial Star, Saint Lord spoke again and extended an olive branch to Zhuowen. Celestial Star, Saint Lord, don't go overboard. Guijing's expression changed slightly. At the same time, he looked nervously at Zhuowen. If Zhuowen agreed to join the Celestial Shengzhen, his days would be tough. Naturally, he was very nervous. Celestial Star, Saint Lord, revealed a confident smile. The Celestial Shengzhen was indeed much stronger than Hanwu Shengzhen and had a deeper foundation. He felt that his request was very generous, and Zhuowen would definitely agree. Zhuowen looked indifferently at the Celestial Star, Saint Lord, and sneered. "Who do you think you are? Do you have the right to invite me? Who does the Celestial Shengzhen think you are? Do you have the right to ask me to move?" As soon as these words were spoken, the Heavenly Star, Saint Lord's face instantly turned gloomy, and he said in a low voice, "Brother Daowen, even if you look down on my Heavenly Star Saint sect, you shouldn't insult my Heavenly Star Saint sect and me, right?" Zhuowen shook his head and said, "I have said it before. Who do you think you are? I have insulted you. If you are not convinced, you can challenge me. I can beat you until you are convinced." The Celestial Star, Saint Lord's face stiffened. He secretly glanced at the submissive, heavenly fiend evil king behind Zhuowen and felt a chill in his heart. He snorted coldly and didn't reply. "Now, it's time to talk about the compensation." Zhuowen continued. Chapter 39:95. Seeing the smile on Zhuowen's face, the three of them felt a chill in their hearts. "Daowen, didn't I say it before? This is all a misunderstanding. It has nothing to do with us." Heavenly Star, Sacred Lord said with a dark face. Zhuowen shook his head and waved his sleeve. Instantly, surging godly demon power surged out. The purple gold sword, embryo floating beside him, let out an earth-shattering sword cry. Then it shot out and charged towards the Heavenly Star Sacred Master. Heavenly Star Sacred Lord's face changed as he released the divine demon in his body to block in front of him. Heavenly Star Sacred Lord's divine demon was a unicorn that was emitting dense starlight. Once this unicorn appeared, Its forehooves jumped in the air as it charged towards the purple gold sword embryo. A line of heaven and earth. Zhuowen's indifferent voice sounded as the purple gold sword embryo shot out an earth-shattering sword chi. Bulsh *T. Instantly, the purple gold sword embryo clashed with the unicorn. After that, the unicorn wailed and was sent flying. The purple gold sword embryo was like a hot knife through butter as it shot towards Heavenly Star's Sacred Lord. Its target was the area between his eyebrows. Heavenly Star's Sacred Lord's face changed as he felt the deep threat of death and quickly dodged. Unfortunately, the purple gold sword embryo was too fast and brushed past his right arm. PFFF. Fresh blood splattered across the sky as Heavenly Star's Sacred Lord's right arm was chopped off from his shoulder. Heavenly Star's Sacred Lord kept retreating as his eyes were filled with shock, anger, and deep fear. Goddess Qing Wan and Long Duzi kept quiet out of fear as they looked at Zhuowen in fear. Was this guy still human? How could he chop off Heavenly Star's Sacred Lord's arm so easily? Lord Daowen, I, Green Phoenix Shengzhen, am willing to compensate you for all your losses. I, Long Duzi Shengzhen, am also willing to compensate you for all your losses. Goddess Qing Wan and Long Duzi bowed their heads. They knew that they had no choice but to bow their heads. Otherwise, what awaited them would be death. Zhuowen stood proudly in midair. He didn't even look at Goddess Qing Wan and Long Duzi. Instead, he looked straight at the Heavenly Star Saint Lord, who was holding his right arm and panicking. Heavenly Star Saint Lord, there are only two choices in front of you. Either you die under my sword, or you kneel before me and agree to compensate for my losses. Are you convinced? Zhuowen's cold voice sounded. It was like a sharp sword that pierced through the Heavenly Star Saint Lord's heart, causing him to involuntarily tremble. In the end, the Heavenly Star Saint Lord sighed softly and looked at Zhuowen with a complicated expression. Then, under everyone's disbelief, he knelt on the ground and said to Zhuowen in a low voice, "This old man is convinced. I am willing to accept any punishment from Lord Daowen," and requests. When the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King, who were following behind Zhuowen, saw the Heavenly Star Saint Lord kneel before Zhuowen, they couldn't help but gloat. At the same time, they were even more respectful and reverent towards Zhuowen. Gui Jing was dumbfounded. However, his heart was soon filled with excitement. Zhuowen's strength had far exceeded his expectations. The three demon family heads had joined forces to kill the ghost demon son and severely injure the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King. They had no choice but to submit to him. Fourth, Shengzhen's strongest expert, the Heavenly Star Saint Lord, wasn't convinced. He had cut off his right arm and forced the Heavenly Star Saint Lord to kneel and beg for mercy. As for Goddess Qing Wan and Long Duzi, they were trembling in fear and were as docile as sheep. Could there be a second terrifying expert like Zhuowen in the entire Liyuan main region? Lingyun is right. Dao Wen's future is limitless. In the future, he will become one of the top experts in the 100 outer domains. Gui Jing recalled Ling Yun's evaluation of Zhuowen. Initially, he didn't think much of it. However, he was completely convinced now. Since you're convinced, lead the way. Your sex treasure vault is completely open to me. I will choose 10 items from each of your treasure vaults. Zhuowen said flatly. The Heavenly Star Saint Lord and the other two's faces changed slightly. However, they had no choice but to agree. The treasure vault was the most important forbidden area in every sect. It was filled with the true treasures of the sect. Now, they had to open the treasure vault to a stranger and allow him to choose 10 treasures. This was a great loss to them. However, he knew that this was the only way. Zhuowen was too strong. He was so strong that he didn't dare to resist. Celestial Star Saint Master, Celestial Maiden Qing Wan, and Long Duzi were crestfallen. They could only lead the way in front. Zhuowen, on the other hand, brought the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King to follow behind the three of them slowly. Gui Jing returned to Hanwu Shengzhen under Zhuowen's instructions. They arrived at Green Wan Shengzhen first. Green Wan Shengzhen was built not far from the shore of the Black Sea. Hence, it was the closest. Look, the goddess is back. Are the two beside the goddess Qing Wan the Heavenly Star Saint Lord and Long Duzi? When the goddess Qing Wan returned to Green Wan Shengzhen, she immediately attracted the attention of the disciples and elders in the sect. Everyone was discussing among themselves. When they saw the Heavenly Star Saint Lord and Long Duzi, they exclaimed in surprise. The fame of the Celestial Saint Lord and Long Duzi was too great. They were the two people with the highest authority in the Celestial Saint sect and Long Duzi, respectively. The Celestial Saint Lord, in particular, was known as the strongest warrior in the Li Yuan main region. I see the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King. Why are the people from the three demon clans here? Why are the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King so respectful to the young man in front of him? Could it be that this young man has a special background? While they were surprised, many people also noticed Zhuowen, the Heavenly Devil Evil King, and the Hybrid Demon King behind the Heavenly Star Saint Lord, and the other two. Goddess, bring me to the treasury. Zhuowen said leisurely, Aunt Celestial Qingwan sighed, and bowed towards Zhuo Wenyi. After that, she successfully led everyone into the sect and headed straight for the treasury. After a while, the group arrived at the treasury of Green Wan Shengzhen. The treasury of Green Wan Shengzhen was located in the back mountain of Green Wan Shengzhen. It was an extremely secluded place. The door of the treasury was made of extremely thick and heavy stones. At this moment, two white-haired elders were sitting cross-legged on both sides of the door. The aura of these two people was extremely powerful. It was like a vast ocean. As they breathed in and out, a violent airflow was set off around them. Zhuowen could tell at a glance that these two elders were experts in the divine demon transformation realm. However, they were only in the middle stage of the divine demon transformation realm. They were still far from the goddess Qing Wan and the others. The arrival of a group of people naturally woke the two elders up. One of the elders with rosacea nodded slightly when he saw the goddess Qing Wan. Then he saw the Heavenly Star Saint Lord and Zhuowen. He could not help but be stunned. Heavenly Star Saint Lord, Long Duzi, Heavenly Devil Evil King, Hybrid Demon King. Chapter 3996. Ninth Elder, open the door to the treasury. Lady Qingwan said helplessly. The old man with rosacea suddenly stood up and looked at Lady Qingwan in disbelief. Lady Qingwan, the treasury is the forbidden area of our Qingwan Shengzhen. It's also our foundation. How can we casually open it in front of outsiders? We have to let these people leave first. They have to leave this place. The other old man also quickly stood up to dissuade Lady Qingwan. With Lady Qingwan's identity, she naturally had the qualifications to enter the treasury. However, the Heavenly Star Saint Lord and the others weren't from the Qingwan Shengzhen. How could they open it in front of them? What if they attacked? What if they snatched the treasury? With me around, the Heavenly Star Saint Lord and the others won't dare to snatch your treasury. Open the door. Zhuowen said impatiently. He didn't want to waste time on this. He only wanted the old man to open the door quickly. Where did this brat come from? What qualifications do you have to make me open the door for you? Get lost. The old man with rosacea looked coldly at Zhuowen and scolded him disdainfully. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a pure white hand appeared in front of him and fiercely landed on his cheek. Slap! A crisp slap sounded. The old man with rosacea covered his cheek and looked at Lady Qingwan in a daze. He blurted out, "Lady Qingwan, why did you hit me?" Immediately after, the old man with rosacea found that Lady Qingwan walked respectfully to the young man he had scolded. She bowed deeply and said, "Lord Daowen, the ninth elder has eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai. I hope you won't be too calculative with him." "Lady Qingwan, why are you—" The old man with rosacea was in disbelief and quickly said, "Shut up. How can this Lord Dao be someone that you can talk about? He's an existence that even the heavenly star Saint Lord and the heavenly devil evil king don't dare to disobey. Who do you think you are? Why aren't you apologizing?" Lady Qingwan hurriedly gave a meaningful glance to the old man with rosacea. At the same time, she secretly transmitted a message to him, reminding him how strong Zhuowen was. Only then did the red-nosed old man and the other old man realize the severity of the situation. They finally realized that no matter if it was the heavenly star Saint Lord, the heavenly devil evil king, or Long Duzi, they were all standing respectfully beside this young man. They did not dare to say a single word. It was as if he was facing some big shot. Their hearts trembled, knowing that the young man in front of them was definitely a big shot. This old man has eyes, but failed to recognize Mount Tai. "Please forgive me, my lord." The two old men hurriedly bowed their heads, not daring to show the slightest disrespect. Zhuowen waved his hand and said, "No need for formalities. Open the door quickly. Goddess Qingwan has already promised me that she will compensate me with 10 items from your treasury. I will only take 10 items, and I will leave after taking them." The two old men nodded repeatedly, stood up, and began to open the door of the treasury. Rumble! The heavy stone door slowly rose, revealing the dark tunnel inside. Lady Qingwan hurriedly went forward and whispered, "Lord Daowen, let me lead the way for you." Zhuowen nodded, and then Lady Qingwan tiptoed in front to lead the way, while Zhuowen slowly followed behind. After Lady Qingwan and Zhuowen's figures disappeared from the door, the red-nosed old man and the other old man let out a sigh of relief, but their hearts were filled with doubts. What was the background of this young man that suddenly appeared? He could actually make their respected Lady Qingwan tremble in fear, and even the heavenly star Saint Lord did not dare to speak. Two reckless slaves. If it wasn't for Lord Daowen's benevolence, the two of you would already be two corpses. In the future, keep your eyes open. The heavenly devil evil king ridiculed in disdain. The two old men did not dare to refute. This was the heavenly devil evil king, a peak expert comparable to the heavenly star Saint Lord. How could they afford to offend him? Your Qingwan Shengzhen has quite a lot of good things. After entering the treasury, Zhuowen's divine sense spread out. Instantly, in the huge treasury, everything was under Zhuowen's control. Lady Qingwan smiled bitterly and did not reply, but her heart was bleeding. And Zhuowen's eyes suddenly lit up. He came to the center of the treasury, where a broken halberd was inserted. This halberd was mottled and rusty, but it emitted an extremely strong aura. Rank 5-star soldier, Zhuowen muttered to himself, and his heart was filled with joy. He did not expect to encounter a rank 5-star soldier the moment he arrived. This was quite beneficial to him. Lady Qingwan's beautiful face slightly changed. This rank 5-star soldier was one of the most precious things in their Qingwan Shengzhen. From Zhuowen's expression, the latter seemed to like it very much. However, Lady Qingwan was also helpless. If Zhuowen liked it, how could she oppose? The first one. Zhuowen pulled out the halberd and stored it in the outside world without any hesitation. 3 stalks of heaven-breaking divine medicine. Take it. 3 heaven-breaking divine artifacts. Take it. Zhuowen browsed through the treasury again and again, storing the most precious things in the treasury into the outside world. When Lady Qinghuan saw this scene, she only felt her heart bleeding. These were all the most precious things in the Qinghuan Shengzhen, but she was powerless to do anything. She could only watch as Zhuowen casually picked the best treasures in the treasury. After Zhuowen kept the 10th treasure, he looked at Lady Qinghuan and said indifferently, "I've taken all 10 items. Let's go." Lady Qinghuan sighed softly and brought Zhuowen away. After leaving Qinghuan Shengzhen, Zhuowen headed straight for Dragon Battle Shengzhen and Heavenly Star Shengzhen, each choosing 10 treasures from the 2 sections. What made Zhuowen pleasantly surprised was that Dragon Battle Shengzhen and Heavenly Star Shengzhen both had rank 5-star weapons. Especially Heavenly Star Shengzhen. There were actually 3 rank 5-star weapons in its treasury. As expected of the number 1 sect among the 4 Shengzhen, its foundation was really deep. At the same time, he also obtained a rank 5-star weapon in Dragon Battle Shengzhen. In other words, if he did not count the purple gold sword embryo, he had a total of 5 rank 5-star weapons. "Sir, we are willing to offer all the treasures in our treasury to you." After leaving Heavenly Star Shengzhen, Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King respectfully said to Zhuowen, their divine soul imprints were controlled by Zhuowen. As long as Zhuowen wanted them to die, there was no need to make a move. With just a thought, they would die without a doubt. Right now, they had placed their positions very well. They were Zhuowen's slaves, which was why they fought. It was as if they had given their treasury to Zhuowen. Zhuowen shook his head and said, "I know you guys are still unconvinced. I won't touch your treasury. I will only take the star weapons in your treasury. I won't take anything else. Also, if you guys perform well, I might be able to reforge your god and devil." When these words came out, Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King both widened their eyes and looked at Zhuowen in disbelief. The god and devil were the foundation of their god and devil transformation, and the destruction of the god and devil was equivalent to the destruction of their foundation. In the entire 100 outer domains, no one had ever been able to reforge their god and devil after their god, and devil were destroyed. It was almost impossible, but the youth in front of them said that he could reforge their god and devil. Was this really possible? The two quickly thought of Zhuowen's unfathomable god and devil. Perhaps this person could really reforge their god and devil. Lord Tao went above. "The 2 of us will definitely go through water and tread on fire for Lord, even if we have to die 10,000 times. The 2 of them deeply bowed to Zhuowen. Chapter 3997. In the secret room of Hongwu Shengzhen, Zhuowen sat cross-legged. 10 different rank 5 astral weapons floated in front of him. He had obtained 5 rank 5 astral weapons from Heavenly Shengzhen, Qinghuan Shengzhen, and Longdo Shengzhen. He had also obtained 5 rank 5 astral weapons from the 3 devil clans. Zhuowen waved his sleeves and took out the purple gold sword embryo. His eyes flickered as he muttered to himself, "If I fuse with these 10 rank 5 astral weapons, the purple gold sword embryo should be able to become a rank 6 astral weapon." He had asked Gui Jing before. In the entire Liyuan main region, there had never been a rank 6 astral weapon. This astral weapon was too powerful. Once it appeared, no force in the Liyuan main region could subdue it. Only the overlord of the Hushu region, Huxley, was rumored to have a rank 6 astral weapon. Its power was unparalleled. As long as he could upgrade the purple gold sword embryo to a rank 6 astral weapon, coupled with his mysterious divine demon, he should have a high chance of saving Shan Lingyun. Let's begin. Zhuowen's eyes turned serious. He formed a seal with both hands, and the divine demon's power surged out like waves. Under his control, the purple gold sword embryo instantly flew towards the nearest rank 5 astral weapon. Zhuowen was expressionless as he watched the purple gold sword embryo absorb the rank 5 astral weapons. He was very diligent in controlling the purple gold sword embryo to fuse with the other astral weapons. 3 months later, an extremely purple light suddenly shot out from the depths of Hongwu Shengzhen. It soared into the sky and lit up the entire sky. It was as if the entire sky was dyed purple. A terrifying aura was exposed, and the entire Hongwu Shengzhen shook. Many disciples with low cultivations couldn't help but kneel on the ground. They looked at the purple light pillar that seemed to be able to pierce through the sky in horror. It came from the Vice Sect Master's palace. Could it be that the Vice Sect Master had a breakthrough? This aura is so terrifying. Soon, the people in the sect also noticed the direction of the light beam. It was coming from Zhuowen's palace. They all discussed secretly, but did not dare to approach. Gue Jing rushed out of the sect master's palace and came to the deputy sect master's palace, where Zhuowen was. At the same time, Pei Shanglong and the other 8 elders of the 10 halls walked out from their respective seclusion, each of them looking at this scene in shock. Creak! The purple light pillar disappeared, and the door of the Vice Sect Master's palace suddenly opened, and a figure slowly walked out. Everyone looked over and saw that this figure was none other than Zhuowen. They saw a purple longsword revolving around Zhuowen's body. This purple longsword was the purple sword embryo. Although it looked rough in some places, overall, it looked more like an extremely sharp sword than a sword embryo. After fusing with 10 stage 5-star weapons, the purple gold sword embryo had undergone an inconceivable transformation. In the end, it had successfully transformed into a stage 6-star weapon, and its power had increased by an unknown amount. Zhuowen slowly raised his head, a sharp light shooting out from his eyes. Gue Jing and the elders of the 10 halls felt a chill in their hearts. This cold light was like a substance shooting into their eyes, piercing through their souls, causing them to feel as if their entire bodies were frozen. It was as if they were frozen. Amongst the crowd, other than Gue Jing, Pei Shanglong and the other 8 elders of the 10 halls all lowered their heads, their bodies trembling violently. Trembling, it was as if they had been ruthlessly stimulated by the ice. The corners of their mouths revealed bitter smiles. They finally understood a fact. The current Zhuowen's strength had already reached a level that was difficult for them to reach. Perhaps the other party could destroy them with just a raise of his hand, and they couldn't help but think of the inconceivable fact that Gue Jing had told them. The Heavenly Star, Holy Lord, Lady Qingluan, the Heavenly Devil Evil King, and the other peak experts of the Li Yuan main region were all beaten into submission by Zhuowen, not even letting out a fart. As a result, their gazes towards Zhuowen were filled with reverence. That was the reverence from the bottom of their hearts towards the strong. Daowen, this star weapon of yours seems to have become even stronger. Could it be Gue Jing's gaze couldn't help but fall on the purple gold divine sword that was revolving around Zhuowen's body. He discovered that this purple gold sword embryo had become even more like a divine sword, and its aura was also much more vast. Zhuowen nodded and said in a deep voice, "Sect Master is right. This sword has already advanced to become a stage 6-star weapon." What? It's actually a stage 6-star weapon. Gue Jing was dumbstruck. The 8 elders of the 10 halls were in an uproar. Zhuowen's words were simply too impactful. A stage 6-star weapon, A star weapon of this level had never appeared in the entire Li Yuan main region, but now it had truly appeared in front of them. After all, a star weapon was not a heaven-breaking divine artifact. A star weapon's power was much stronger than a heaven-breaking divine artifact. In terms of power, a stage 6 star weapon's power was probably even greater than a heaven-breaking divine artifact stage 9 star weapon. Good. Dawen, with this stage 6 star weapon, you must be more confident in saving Ling Yun. Gui Jing came back to his senses and was overjoyed. Zhuowen nodded. After discussing with Gui Jing some specific matters regarding the trip to Huxley, he went into seclusion again. He still had time. This trip to Huxley was full of danger. He had to be fully prepared before setting off. In the following period of time, Zhuowen had been exploring his divine demons, as well as improving his Array Dao and Alchemy Dao. With the help of Hongwu Shengzhen's resources, Zhuowen only spent 2 years to improve his alchemy and Array Dao to the heaven-breaking divine artifact stage 8, and he had more or less figured out his own divine demons. His divine demon's body was that huge purple tree. On the tree, there were a total of 108 purple fruits. Each fruit could give birth to a powerful divine demon. Moreover, he discovered that the divine demons born from the purple tree could be fused into a cultivator's body through bestowment, turning them into the latter's divine demon. It was just that after bestowing divine demons to others, Zhuowen's consumption was huge. He needed a period of time to recover some of his vitality. After figuring out his own divine demons, Zhuowen sent a message to the demonic sky evil king and the hybrid demon king, asking them to come to Hongwu Shengzhen immediately. The demonic sky evil king and the hybrid demon king were very efficient. In less than 3 days, they arrived at Hongwu Shengzhen, causing many Hongwu Shengzhen disciples to be nervous. The demonic sky evil king's fame was widespread. He was a top expert on the same level as the heavenly star Saint Lord. He was even stronger than Gui Jing of Hongwu Shengzhen. This person and the hybrid demon king's arrival naturally caused many disciples to feel fear and pressure. Gui Jing and the 10 palace elders were also alarmed. Demonic sky evil king, hybrid demon king, what are they doing here? Pei Shanglong said with an ugly expression. Chapter 3998. No way. They are from the 3 demon families and are unpardonable evil. If we let them in, wouldn't we be inviting wolves into a flock of sheep? The guard quickly shook his head, his legs trembling. Within the sect, many disciples also raised their voices of objection. Even the elders of the 10 halls persuaded Zhuowen that the heavenly demon evil king was ambitious and could not be trusted easily. Zhuowen said impatiently, "Open the mountain gate, or you will be dealt with according to the sect rules." Seeing this, the guard knew that Zhuowen was a little angry and could only brace himself to open the mountain gate and then quickly retreat. After the mountain gate was opened, the heavenly demon evil king and the hybrid demon king entered the sect, and then knelt in front of Zhuowen in front of everyone's incredulous eyes and bowed respectfully. The entire sect was silent, although there were rumors that Zhuowen had subdued the 3 demon family patriarchs. Most people thought that it was just a rumor. Now, it seemed that this was not a rumor but a reality. The gazes with which everyone looked at Zhuowen became even more reverent. Come with me." Zhuowen nodded, and then turned and walked towards the deputy sect master's hall. The heavenly demon evil king and the hybrid demon king hurriedly followed, feeling a little nervous. They did not know why Zhuowen had summoned the 2 of them. Could it be that they had done something wrong? When Zhuowen and others left, the entire sect was in an uproar. Wow, Deputy Sect Master Dao, one is so cool. He only said 1 sentence, and the heavenly demon evil king and the hybrid demon king did not even dare to fart. They followed him obediently. Yeah, The deputy sect master is so impressive. I wonder when I can be like him. He's so cool. The disciples in the sect all had looks of worship on their faces. In the deputy sect master's hall, the heavenly demon evil king and the hybrid demon king looked uneasily at Zhuowen, who had his back facing them. Zhuowen did not say anything, and they did not dare to say anything. I'm going to Huxley to save someone. Are the two of you willing to come with me? Zhuowen turned around and looked at the heavenly fiend evil king and hybrid demon king. Heavenly devil evil king and hybrid demon king were startled at first. Then they revealed looks of disbelief, as if they had just heard something unbelievable. Sir, you must be joking. The Yimo king smiled bitterly. Huxley was a giant existence in the Hushu domain. He was the true ruler of the Hushu domain. In the entire Hushu domain, who could save someone from the hands of such a giant? Heavenly Devil Evil King's face was also full of bitterness. He also felt that Zhuowen's words were somewhat whimsical. Do I look like I'm joking? Zhuowen coldly looked at Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King and continued, If you agree to come with me, I will help you restore your divine devils. If you don't want to, I won't force you. The Heavenly Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King, who didn't care at first, narrowed their eyes and looked at Zhuowen in disbelief. Sir, you can really restore our divine devils? Heavenly Devil Evil King excitedly asked. After they lost their divine devils, it can be said that they lost their divine devils for a long time. During this time, after they returned to the three devil families, they didn't dare to say anything about their divine devils being destroyed. Therefore, the three devil families are still willing to listen to them. However, they were very clear that as time passed, clues would eventually be discovered. When the experts of the three devil clans knew that their gods and devils had been destroyed, and their strength had greatly decreased, the experts of the three devil clans would definitely turn against them. At that time, they won't have the strength to suppress the rebellion. But Zhuowen's words reignited their hope. Now, I will ask you again, are you willing to come with me to Huxley? Zhuowen still calmly asked. I am willing. Heavenly Devil Evil King agreed, without hesitation. Divine devils are too important to him. They represent his future achievements. Otherwise, he will be destroyed. He is willing to take the risk. Hybrid Demon King hesitated for a moment and also agreed. Good. You will be gratified by today's decision. Zhuowen nodded. A trace of smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Then he released his divine devil. A huge purple tree appeared in the void. On each of its branches hung purple fruits. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King silently looked at this huge purple tree. Their eyes were filled with awe. They knew very well how terrifying Zhuowen's god and demon were, especially the god and demon born from this tree. It had devoured their god and demon. It was truly terrifying. Zhuowen made a grabbing motion in the air with his right hand, and two purple fruits fell into his palm. If you look carefully, Zhuowen's face is actually a bit pale. He handed the two fruits to Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King and said indifferently, Eat these two fruits. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King looked at each other, took the purple fruits, and ate them without hesitation. After a while, the two only felt a warm current crazily sweeping through their limbs and bones, and then extreme pain came, causing the two to scream miserably and fell to the ground and kept rolling. Zhuowen silently looked at this scene, his eyes bursting with astonishing light. This is the first time he used this method. According to his calculation, as long as he eats his purple fruit, he should be able to produce a corresponding powerful divine devil in the cultivator's body. About a few hours later, Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King's screams gradually weakened, and then the two's aura rapidly rose at a speed visible to the naked eye. Roar! roar. A shocking roar came from the two's body, and then the two's divine devil phantom suddenly rushed out of their bodies. Heavenly Devil Evil King's divine devil phantom is a huge divine devil with a wolf head and a human body. Its aura is extremely tyrannical and powerful, not at all weaker than Zhuowen's divine devil phantom that was born from the purple fruit. The demon god that flew out from the hybrid demon king's body was a black samurai covered in pitch black armor. There were 7 black samurai swords on his back. Under the influence of the divine devil phantom, Heavenly Devil Evil King and hybrid demon king's cultivation rapidly rose, and in an instant they reached the peak of divine devil transformation, especially Heavenly Devil Evil King. He is almost half a step into the ancient star transformation. His aura is far stronger than the peak of divine devil transformation. Moreover, the divine devil phantom that was born from the two is also extremely extraordinary, not weaker than Zhuowen's divine devil phantom. Ordinary divine devil transformation cultivators' divine devil phantom is simply not a match for their divine devil phantom. My divine devil phantom has recovered, and this divine devil is very powerful, and our cultivation has also broken through. Heavenly Devil Evil King and hybrid demon king stood up, feeling the vast power in their body. They were pleasantly surprised. Many thanks, Lord. We are very grateful. Chapter 39:99. Zhuowen nodded, and his expression was tranquil. He had already experienced how powerful his divine demon was. Therefore, he was not surprised when the heavenly fiend Evil King and the hybrid demon king gave birth to a new divine demon. My lord, when do you plan to go to Huxley? After the heavenly fiend Evil King and the hybrid demon king calmed down, they looked at Zhuowen and asked anxiously. Zhuowen sighed. He was fully prepared now, but he knew how powerful and terrifying Huxley was. Although he was extremely powerful now, he did not know if he could save Shan Lingyun. However, he knew that if his array skills could reach heaven-breaking level 9, he would have a high chance of breaking into Huxley and saving Shan Lingyun. As far as he knew, there were very few people in the entire Huxley region who could reach heaven-breaking level 9. Although there were heaven-breaking level 9 array masters in Huxley region, it was said that there were only 2 of them. Zhuowen knew that if his array skills were only at heaven-breaking level 8, the array inside Huxley would be a big obstacle for him. However, if his array skills could reach heaven-breaking level 9, it would be much easier for him to break into Huxley without anyone noticing. However, what made him helpless was that he had flipped through the entire Hanwu Shengzhen ancient books about array skills. The highest one he found was only at heaven-breaking level 8. Zhuowen believed that with his current terrifying power of understanding, as long as he could read the heaven-breaking level 9 array Dao ancient books, his array skills would reach heaven-breaking level 9 within a few years. The heavenly fiend Evil King and the hybrid demon king saw that Zhuowen did not answer for a long time and were a little nervous. The 2 of them did not dare to say anything and just waited silently for Zhuowen to speak. Finally, Zhuowen came back to his senses and said in a deep voice, "Going to Huxley is an important matter after all. It's not urgent yet. Let me ask you, are there any heaven-breaking 9 runes in the Liyuan main region?" The heavenly fiend Evil King and Mantis Demon King looked at each other, and even though they were confused by Zhuowen's words, they still shook their heads and said, "A heaven-breaking divine array master has never appeared in our Liyuan main region. Our Liyuan main region can only be considered below average among the many main regions in the Hushu realm. The highest formation master is only at Heaven Breaker level 8. Zhuowen was slightly disappointed. If he didn't have the Heaven Breaching level 9 formation Dao book, it was basically impossible for him to break through to Heaven Breaching level 9 in a few years. He would need to explore step by step, and that would take too much time. My lord, in the entire Hushu realm, the Bright Mist main region is the only place that has ever produced a heaven-breaking level 9 divine formation master. The heavenly devil evil king suddenly spoke. Oh, Bright Mist realm? Zhuowen's eyes lit up. He had heard of Bright Mist realm before. It was said that among the many main regions in the Hushu realm, it was the most prosperous and had the deepest foundation. It was undoubtedly the #1 main region among the many main regions. Such a powerful main region, it was really possible for a heaven-breaking level 9 formation Dao master to appear. You know the details? Zhuo Wen's eyes lit up as he asked. Heavenly Devil Demon King was also very excited. Obviously, he was also very happy to be able to help Zhuowen. He quickly said, I once went to Bright Mist Realm to pay a visit to this god, Tier Master. He is a supreme old ancestor of the Lin family of Bright Mist Realm. He was a true formation Dao genius back then. When I went to visit him back then, this god Tier Master was already at the end of his lifespan. I don't know if he is still around now. Zhuowen, on the other hand, was rather interested. The presence of this god Tier Master did not affect him at all. If he could obtain this god Tier Master's array Dao scripture and borrow his experience, Zhuowen believed that he could smoothly break through to become a heaven-breaking level 9 array Dao god Tier Master. Bring me to the Bright Mist main region, Zhuowen said solemnly. Heavenly Devil Demon King quickly agreed. In the next few days, Zhuowen made some preparations and said goodbye to Gue Jing. Lin family of Bright Mist Realm? Daowen, I've heard of the Lin family. Although they aren't the most powerful force in the Radiant Mist main region, they are very influential because they specialize in cultivating divine array masters. Therefore, there are many experts in the Radiant Mist main region and even other main regions. Many forces in the Hushu realm are on good terms with them, so that they can ask the Lin family to set up a powerful formation. Gue Jing frowned slightly and continued, If you are visiting them for their formation Dao book, I think it will be a little difficult. Gue Jing knew very well that a formation Dao family, like the Lin family, would place great importance on the formation Dao book. Even the members of the Lin family might not be able to read the core formation Dao book, let alone an outsider like Zhuowen. I have my ways. Zhuowen smiled slightly and left with Heavenly Devil Demon King and Hybrid Demon King. Gue Jing silently looked at Zhuowen's back and murmured, Daowen, I hope that you will be safe this time. Don't let anything happen to you. Bright Mist Realm was located in the extreme north of Hushu Realm. It was quite far from Liyuan Realm. It was basically impossible to cross the border with the divine ship. Therefore, Heavenly Devil Demon King brought Zhuowen to the Divine Palace teleportation formation in Liyuan Realm. After paying a certain fee, the three of them left Liyuan Realm. What appeared in front of Zhuowen was a simple and elegant hall. He, Heavenly Devil Demon King, and Hybrid Demon King were standing in the teleportation formation. At this moment, the cultivators beside the teleportation formation were quite impatient when they saw that the three of them had not come down. However, they soon found that the three of them were extremely terrifying. They were all experts in the Fiend God transformation realm. Their faces immediately stiffened, and they did not dare to say anything to drive them away. The three of them, after leaving the teleportation formation, Heavenly Devil Demon King took out a divine ship and said to Zhuowen, My lord, the Divine Palace teleportation formation is still a long distance away from the Lin family. If you are not in a hurry, we can take the divine ship. Zhuowen did not refuse. He could use this time to continue to consolidate his cultivation on the divine ship. He might even be able to advance further. After all, he had obtained a lot of good things in the Four Shenzhen's treasury. There was no lack of top-grade divine medicine and divine pills for cultivation. With the help of these divine medicine and divine pills, Zhuowen believed that he should be able to break through a small realm in a short time and reach the middle stage of the fiend god transformation realm. Time passed slowly. After Zhuowen entered the divine ship, he immediately went into seclusion. Heavenly Devil Demon King and Hybrid Demon King stood respectfully on the deck and patrolled and controlled the divine ship. They were like two most loyal guards. Because the Radiant Mist Realm was located in the extreme north of the Hushu realm, the entire Radiant Mist Realm was covered in snow. Moreover, the snow in the Radiant Mist Realm was as heavy as goose feathers. It was extremely cold. Ordinary cultivators with low cultivation would be easily frozen to death if they were to be trapped in the snow. We should be very close to the Lin family. In another 3 days, we should be able to reach the Lingyun city controlled by the Lin family. Chapter 4000. Evil King, how do you think our Lord will get the array Dao books from the Lin family after he enters? After all, the Lin family is a huge family. Their foundation and strength is not something our 3 demon families can compare to. I'm afraid. Yimo King's eyes flickered. Before he finished speaking, he was stopped by Heavenly Devil Evil King. Heavenly Devil Evil King looked coldly at Yimo King and said in a deep voice, "You and I both know how strong our Lord is. Why do we need to worry about this?" Yimo King was shocked. Thinking of Zhuowen's terrifying methods, he quickly cupped his hands and apologized. Suddenly, a vast aura rushed out from the inside of the divine ship. The rolling aura was like a wave rushing up to the sky and then fiercely slamming down. The ship that was originally moving smoothly was violently shaken by this vast aura. It could capsize at any time. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Yimo King staggered. They quickly used their divine devil power to stabilize their bodies and at the same time resist this terrifying aura. What a powerful aura! Could it be that our Lord has broken through? Heavenly Devil Evil King said in shock. The Yimo King also had a shocked expression on his face. This aura was too vast and mighty. Even he felt tiny in the face of this aura. The vast aura came and went quickly. The ship that was originally shaking also regained its stability. Only the sound of wind and snow was left. Creak! The interior of the divine ship slowly opened, and a young man with a calm expression walked out. The youth's eyes were shining like bright stars. When Heavenly Devil Evil King and Yimo King looked at the youth, they only felt their eyes ache. It was as if there was a sharp sword piercing through their eyes and into their souls. Congratulations, Lord, you have broken through again. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Yimo King quickly knelt on the ground and congratulated Zhuowen in unison. Zhuowen's lips curled up. He had indeed broken through. With the help of many divine pills and elixirs, he smoothly broke through to the middle stage of the divine devil transformation realm. But because of this, he had almost exhausted all of his cultivation resources. The current him could be said to be poor. At the same time, Zhuowen also lamented the terrifying consumption of his own cultivation resources. Even an ordinary cultivator who broke through to the ancient star transformation realm would need more resources than him. Zhuowen was very worried about his future breakthroughs. According to this consumption method, if he wants to break through in the future, wouldn't he need even more resources? This is not a good thing for him. However, the benefits of breaking through are real. His strength is almost 10 times more terrifying than when he was in the early stage of the divine devil transformation realm. Get up. How long until we reach the Lin family? Zhuowen waved his hand, allowing the heavenly fiend Demon King and Demon King to stand up, and asked casually. Heavenly Devil Evil King said respectfully, "Reporting to my lord." There are still 3 days. Hearing this, Zhuowen nodded. He instructed the celestial demon Evil King to inform him when he arrived and returned to the cabin. After Zhuowen left, Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King let out a sigh of relief. Lord Dao, Lord Demon. I heard that he just broke through to the Divine Devil transformation realm not long ago, and now he broke through again. I'm afraid his strength is much more terrifying than before. Yimo King said in awe. The Heavenly Devil Evil King nodded in agreement. Even he felt that Zhuowen's breakthrough speed was inconceivable. Was this still something a normal cultivator could do? Thinking of this, the two of them are even more in awe of Zhuowen. 3 days later, the ship finally arrived at Lingyun City. Lingyun City is a huge city under the control of the Lin family. This city is extremely vast, much larger than the island where Hangwu Shengzhen was located. Rather than a city, Zhuowen King feels that this city is more like a large tribe. The buildings inside are densely packed, and the population is endless. It is very prosperous and lively. Lord, we have arrived at Lingyun City, where the Lin family is located. Heavenly Devil Evil King respectfully transmitted to Zhuowen. Zhuowen King walked out of the cabin again and looked at the huge city in front of him. He nodded and then looked at Heavenly Devil Evil King and said, "The person you agreed to meet is also from the Lin family? He can bring us directly into the Lin family?" Heavenly Devil Evil King respectfully said, "Lin Danshan is the third in command of the Lin family. His position in the Lin family is not bad. The last time I came to visit the Lin family, it was him who recommended me." Zhuowen King nodded and did not say anything. When the ship landed at the city gate, there is a middle-aged man who has been waiting for a long time at the gate. He immediately came up to welcome them. "Brother Heavenly Devil, it's been a long time. This Lin has missed you." The middle-aged man is Lin Danshan. As soon as he arrived, he enthusiastically chatted with Heavenly Devil Evil King. Heavenly Devil Evil King also enthusiastically replied and introduced Lin Danshan King and Zhuowen King. "So you are one of the 3 demon family heads, Demon King. Nice to meet you. This Lin has long heard of Demon King's name. Seeing you today, you really live up to your name." Lin Danshan King smiled and shook hands with Demon King. As for Zhuowen King, he just casually glanced and nodded as a greeting. He did not show any enthusiasm. Clearly, in Lin Danshan King's heart, Zhuowen King should be a follower of Heavenly Devil Evil King and Demon King. Heavenly Devil Evil King saw that Lin Danshan King was neglecting Zhuowen King and was about to remind him, but he was stopped by Zhuowen King's gaze. He came to the Lin family, this time to borrow array formation books, not to abuse his power. There was no need to expose his strength and identity. As long as Heavenly Devil Evil King could settle this matter, it would be best if he did not need to show himself. Heavenly Devil Evil King naturally understood Zhuowen King's meaning and kept quiet. Under Lin Danshan King's lead, they entered Lingyun City. Lin Danshan King did not come out alone this time. He was accompanied by a beautiful girl with big eyes. The girl's big eyes noticed Zhuowen King, and she could not help but come up and ask curiously, "Boy, are you the son of Heavenly Devil Evil King or Demon King?" Zhuowen was stunned. He did not expect the girl to take the initiative to talk to him. However, he did not want to waste time, so he did not answer the girl's question. "Are you mute? Since you don't speak, then I guess you are neither the son of Heavenly Devil Evil King nor Demon King. You are a child they picked up. Am I right?" The girl giggled. "Sorry, you guessed wrong. I am the master of Heavenly Devil Evil King and Demon King. Both of them have to listen to me." Zhuowen King shook his head. He did not want to waste time with the girl and followed Lin Danshan King and the others into the city. Master, this boy really likes to brag. Chapter 4001. What a powerful restriction formation. The moment he entered Lingyun City, Zhuowen immediately sensed the ripples of an extremely powerful formation restriction flowing around the huge city. The fluctuation of this formation was extremely vast, and it practically covered the entire city. It was like the most loyal protective barrier, and it enveloped the sky and the surroundings of the entire city. Zhuowen also realized that the formation was so complicated that he could only understand a part of it. One had to know that he was a heaven-breaking level 8 formation master. If even he couldn't understand it completely, it could only mean that the formation restriction of the entire city should be a heaven-breaking level 9 formation. Zhuowen's eyes glowed with excitement. It seemed like the heavenly devil Evil King was right. The Lin family of Lingyun City really had a heaven-breaking level 9 array Dao master. He could really find the corresponding heaven-breaking level 9 array Dao book here. Lin Danshan brought them to the center of Lingyun City. It was a luxurious mansion. This was the core area of the Lin family. Only the direct descendants of the Lin family lived here. The big-eyed girl followed behind them unhappily. She was very interested in Zhuowen and kept trying to talk to him along the way. Unfortunately, Zhuowen only gave perfunctory answers like "n" or "oh," which made the big-eyed girl very unhappy. Brother Sky Devil, you've been to the Lin family before. You should know the rules, right? You're here to visit the Lin family's forefather, right? Lin Danshan turned around and smiled at Sky Devil Evil King. Sky Devil Evil King wasn't surprised. He quickly took out a golden ore from his spirit ring and handed it to Lin Danshan. Supreme grade golden brilliance stone. This is one of the materials to make a heaven breaker level 8 formation. Brother Sky Devil, you're too kind. Lin Danshan looked at the golden brilliance stone in Sky Devil Evil King's hand and said politely. He quickly put the golden brilliance stone away. Sky Devil Evil King wasn't surprised. Every time he came to the Lin family, he would bring something good for Lin Danshan. That way, he could build a good relationship with Lin Danshan. It would be more convenient for him to ask Lin Danshan for help in the future. Brother Lin, other than visiting the Lin family's forefather, I have another favor to ask of you. Sky Devil Evil King cupped his hands and said. Lin Danshan took the golden brilliance stone and said with a smile, Brother Sky Devil, as long as it's within my ability, I'll definitely do it for you. Sky Devil Evil King said, Brother Lin, your Lin family is the #1 formation family in the Hushu realm. There are many Heaven Breaker level 9 formation masters in history. For example, this old ancestor of yours is a heaven-breaking tier 9 formation Dao Divine Master. No, I wonder if I'm lucky enough to borrow your heaven-crushing 9-stage array Dao book. The smile on Lin Danshan's face instantly turned gloomy when he heard this. He coldly looked at Heavenly Demon Evil King, his brows slightly furrowed, and said, Brother Heavenly Demon, your request is a bit too much. I cannot satisfy you. Even I haven't reached the peak of the heaven-breaking level 8 array Dao level. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to come into contact with such ancient records, let alone you. Hearing this, the heavenly fiend Demon King frowned and couldn't help but look at Zhuowen behind him, as if asking for Zhuowen's opinion. Zhuowen naturally heard Lin Danshan's words, but he wasn't surprised. After all, a heaven-breaking 9-stage formation Dao book was indeed very precious. It would be strange if the Lin family would hand it over so easily. Zhuowen secretly transmitted his voice to the sky demon Evil King. The latter nodded and continued to ask, "Brother Lin, is there no other way to borrow the heaven-crushing 9-stage array formation scriptures? We are willing to pay a sufficient price to borrow your Lin family's array Dao books." After all, Lin Danshan had taken Sky Devil Evil King's item. So he said embarrassedly, "There is a way, but it's usually only for our Lin family's disciples. If Brother Heavenly Devil wants to try, I can get it for you. What do you think about this quota?" "What is it?" Sky Devil Evil King quickly asked. "Brother Heavenly Devil, you must know that our Lin family has a formation pagoda," Sky Devil Evil King said as he pointed at the gigantic pagoda behind him. This formation pagoda was built by our Lin family's ancestor. There are a total of 100 floors. He once said that if anyone can pass the 100th floor, they will receive a promise from the Lin family. In other words, you can ask for anything you want from our Lin family. What kind of request? Our Lin family will definitely fulfill our promise and fulfill your request. Lin Danshan looked at Sky Devil Evil King, waiting for his reply. Sky Devil Evil King's expression changed slightly. He had naturally heard of the formation pagoda before. He also knew that it was very difficult to pass the 100th floor. Since ancient times, other than the Lin family's ancestor, no one else had passed the 100th floor. Although Sky Devil Evil King didn't doubt Zhuowen's strength, he still didn't think that Zhuowen had the ability to pass the 100th floor. So he was a little hesitant. Lin Danshan saw the hesitation on Sky Devil Evil King's face and knew what the latter was hesitating about. He whispered, "Brother Heavenly Devil, this is the only way I can think of right now, so you should think about it carefully. As long as you can get a spot, we will naturally agree." Zhuowen suddenly said. Lin Danshan looked at Zhuowen with a puzzled expression. In his view, Sky Devil Evil King hasn't even spoken yet, so why are you, a junior, interrupting? All right, if Brother Lin can get a spot, we will be willing to pass the formation pagoda. Sky Devil Evil King nodded. Lin Danshan nodded, and then led the three of them into the Lin family. After arranging a place for them to stay, he hurriedly left to arrange the spots for the formation pagoda. As for the girl with the big eyes, Lin Danshan arranged for her to stay behind and let the three of them familiarize themselves with the Lin family's environment, as well as some places they could go and some places they couldn't. Zhuowen and the other two finally knew the girl's identity. She was Lin Danshan's daughter, Lin Fuxin. When Lin Fuxin brought Zhuowen and the other two to familiarize themselves with the Lin family's environment, she was surprised to find that Sky Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King seemed to be a little nervous when facing Zhuowen. Moreover, there was a look of respect in their eyes. Lin Fuxin couldn't help but think of what Zhuowen said to her before, but she quickly shook her head and muttered in her heart, "How is that possible? Sky Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King are the strongest in the Liyuan main domain. How can they?" Chapter 4002. A few days later, Lin Danshan came to the courtyard where Zhuowen and the others were and brought good news. Lin Danshan had gotten a spot for the array pagoda, and the time was set to be 3 days later. "Brother Lin, thank you for your hard work," Heavenly Demon Evil King said, happily. Zhuowen, who was standing at the side, also revealed a slight smile. Although he had never seen the array pagoda before, he was very confident in himself. With his talent under the primordial stone, there might not be anyone in the entire 100 domains who could compare to him. This array pagoda should not be too much of an obstacle for him. "Brother Heavenly Demon, this is the array pagoda entry token. 3 days later, you can enter the array pagoda with this token. Of course, if you can't hold on, you can use this token to teleport yourself out. But once you come out, the token will lose its effect. All right, you only have this one chance. Lin Danshan took out a green token and handed it to Heavenly Fiend, Evil Monarch. Heavenly Demon Evil King took the token and said with a smile, "I'm not the one to challenge the Array Pagoda." Lin Danshan was stunned and couldn't help but look at the Hybrid Demon King and said, "Is it this brother Hybrid Demon?" Heavenly Demon Evil King still shook his head. This made Lin Danshan's expression become strange, and he couldn't help but look at Zhuowen on the other side. "Brother Heavenly Demon, you must be joking. Don't tell me you want to give the opportunity to enter the Array Pagoda to this junior?" Lin Danshan said with a smile. Heavenly Demon Evil King nodded and said, "Yes, this lord is called Dao One. He is the most qualified person among the three of us to challenge the Array Pagoda." Lin Danshan and Lin Fuxin noticed that Heavenly Demon Evil King had called Zhuowen Lord, and his attitude was extremely respectful. This made the two of them puzzled. This was especially so for Lin Fuxin. Her beautiful eyes were fixed on Zhuowen. She finally understood that what Zhuowen had said to her back then was not a boast, but a fact. The Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King really might have recognized this person as their master. Otherwise, the two of them would not be so respectful to Zhuowen. Lin Danshan was even more confused, but he didn't ask any more questions. He glanced at Zhuowen and shook his head, thinking that there was no hope for Zhuowen to pass the 100th floor, since Sky Fiend Evil King gave this chance to this kid. Lin Danshan and Heavenly Demon Evil King chatted for a while, then left, saying that they would meet again in 3 days. Time flew by, and 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Zhuowen opened the door and found that the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King were already waiting for him in the courtyard. "Let's go." As Zhuowen spoke, he led the two of them out of the courtyard and walked towards the Array Tower not far away. The Array Tower was located in a square in the center of the Lin family. The Array Tower was square in shape with distinct edges and corners. Extremely powerful Array Dao ripples flowed on its surface like the rolling waves of the sea. There were quite a few people in the square, all of whom were young disciples wearing the Lin family's uniform. These young disciples went in and out of the Array Tower. They had heard from Lin Fuxin that the direct descendants of the Lin family were qualified to challenge the Array Tower. Many of the Lin family's disciples entered the Array Tower to cultivate Array Dao. Because the Array Tower contained a powerful Array Dao origin, it could greatly increase the speed of one's understanding of Array Dao. Therefore, many of the Lin family's disciples had their own place to cultivate in the Array Tower. Of course, most of the Lin family's disciples only cultivated in the lowest level of the Array Tower. Only a few talented disciples would go to the higher levels. It was said that the Lin family's ancestor had broken through to the 99th floor of the Array Tower, shocking the entire Lin family and even the Bright Mist main region. And in the Formation Pagoda, the higher the number of levels, the higher the talent. Their future achievements would definitely not be too weak. For example, the Lin family's ancestor had broken through to the 99th floor and was now a heaven-breaking Level 9 Array Dao Divine Master. Heavenly Demon Brother. When Zhuowen and the other two arrived at the square, they met Lin Danshan and Lin Fuxin. At the same time, there was a middle-aged man beside the two of them. The middle-aged man was wearing a purple robe. He looked slightly plump and had a mustache. Brother Lin, Family Head Lin, Heavenly Demon Evil King, noticed the middle-aged man in the purple robe and was slightly surprised. He cupped his hands and greeted the middle-aged man politely. The middle-aged man in the purple robe was the current family head of the Lin family, Lin Longyao. It was said that he was a heaven-breaking Level 8 Array Dao Divine Master. His cultivation was unfathomable, and he was an extremely powerful person. Ha ha! Heavenly Demon Brother, you are too polite. You and I are acquaintances. There is no need to be so formal. Lin Longyao laughed and waved his hand. He continued, I heard that you came to the Lin family to challenge the Array Tower. Is it this little brother? As he spoke, Lin Longyao's gaze fell on the indifferent Zhuo. His small eyes silently sized up Zhuo as he shook his head inwardly. He did not see anything special about Zhuo. Heavenly Demon Evil King did not dare to delay, and quickly agreed. I wonder how many levels this little brother can pass. Lin Longyao asked faintly. Zhuo glanced at Lin Longyao and smiled. I naturally came to challenge the Array Tower for the 100th level. I also hope that after I pass the Array Tower, the Lin family can keep their promise and agree to a request of mine. Lin Longyao and Lin Danshan were stunned. They did not expect that the young man in front of them was not modest at all. He actually said that he could pass the 100th level of the Array Tower. This was too much of a boast. Lin Danshan saw that Lin Longyao's expression did not look too good. He coughed dryly and winked at Zhuo. Little brother Daowen, you may not know much about the Array Tower. Since ancient times, only our Lin family's ancestor has passed the 100th level of the Array Tower. Our current ancestor only made it to the 99th level. Little brother, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. Lin Longyao snorted coldly, but Zhuo did not mind in the slightest and said coolly, what your ancestor can't do doesn't mean that I can't do it. Lin Longyao's expression turned even colder. The young man in front of him was seriously too arrogant, too egotistical. Was this sentence mocking their ancestor? Little brother, since you're so confident, how about you and I make a bet? Lin Longyao said with a cold smile. Oh, how does family head Lin want to bet? Zhuo said rather interestedly. The bet is very simple. If you can't pass the 100th level, then you have to leave behind the most precious thing on you. Lin Longyao said coolly. Zhuo's gaze narrowed. He looked at Lin Longyao coldly and said with a grin, if I win, can your Lin family hand over your Lin family's most precious thing to me? Lin Longyao said confidently, our Lin family won't lose. Furthermore, how can you compare to our Lin family? You probably haven't even seen our Lin family's most precious thing before. Zhuo smiled coldly and said, then let's be fair. As long as I win, not only does your Lin family have to agree to my request, but you also have to give me a treasure of the same value as the most precious thing on me. How about that? Hearing that, Lin Longyao gave Zhuo a glance in surprise. He did not expect that this kid was actually so confident. This kind of sure-lose game still dared to bet with him. He did not think too much either and agreed. Chapter 4003. Sky Devil Demon King and Hybrid Demon King frowned. After all, they were guests from afar and had even handed over something as precious as the golden brilliant stone. However, the head of the Lin family had shown Zhuo his power as soon as he arrived. This made the two of them feel uncomfortable. However, since Zhuo did not say anything, the two of them could not say anything. On the other hand, Lin Danshan was rather embarrassed as he looked at Sky Devil Demon King apologetically, regarding the matter of Heavenly Devil Evil King and the others wanting to challenge the Array Pagoda. He had only casually mentioned it to Lin Longyao, but he did not expect that Lin Longyao would actually be interested and follow them to meet Heavenly Devil Evil King. Originally, with Lin Longyao's status, it was unlikely that he would care too much about a junior like Zhuo. Unfortunately, this kid was arrogant and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Thinking of this, Lin Danshan looked at Zhuowen indifferently and shook his head. He had completely treated Zhuowen as a hothead. He actually dared to say that he could pass the 100th level of the array tower. Let's see how this kid will deal with this later. Please, little brother, I am looking forward to your results of reaching the 100th level of the array tower. I hope you won't disappoint me. Lin Longyao glanced at Zhuowen indifferently. His words were full of mockery. Zhuowen did not care at all and calmly walked towards the array tower. There were many Lin family disciples entering and exiting the array tower. These Lin family disciples had long seen Lin Longyao and Lin Danshan not far away, especially when they saw a junior like Zhuo when talking to Lin Longyao. Many of the Lin clan disciples couldn't help but turn their attention to this unfamiliar youth. This person is so unfamiliar. He doesn't seem to be a Lin family disciple. He shouldn't be looking at him. He should know the head of the family. He should be an outsider's junior who obtained the opportunity to enter the array tower. The Lin family disciples discussed animatedly. Although the array tower was a private property of the Lin family, it was very famous in the Heshu realm. Many of the leaders of the major forces would pay a huge price to let their talented juniors enter the Lin family's array pagoda to study. Therefore, it was not strange for the descendants of the Lin clan to see outsiders enter the tower. In terms of formation Dao prodigies, there are very few juniors of the other great forces in the Heshu domain that can compare to our Lin family. Didn't Huxley send a genius to challenge the array pagoda last time? But it stopped at the 66th floor, and we stopped there. The 70th floor of the Lin clan's eldest senior, Brother Lin Jingtian, is still a long way off. Of course, even Huxley's prodigy can't compare to our eldest senior brother in terms of formations, let alone the juniors of the other major forces. This kid looks ordinary and mediocre. I think he should be thanking the heavens and earth if he can pass the 20th level. 20 floors. I think you've overestimated it. I think even the 10th floor will be difficult enough. The disciples of the Lin family discussed animatedly while sneering as they watched Zhuowen enter the array pagoda. Zhuowen naturally heard the discussions around him clearly. However, he did not say anything and only sneered in his heart. There was a huge stone door at the bottom of the array pagoda. Beside the stone door was a groove. The groove's shape was exactly the same as the token in Zhuowen's hand. After Zhuowen placed the token in the groove, the stone door creaked and turned. Then, the stone door did not open. Instead, a complex array as tall as a person appeared on its surface. Zhuowen could see that this array should be a teleportation array. After Zhuowen put away the token, he strode into the array and disappeared into the stone door. In front of the square where the array pagoda was, there was a huge stone tablet. The surface of the stone tablet was flowing with various kinds of light. Upon closer inspection, the light formed the shape of an array pagoda. It was divided into 100 levels. Within the light, there were light spots on every level. The higher the level, the fewer the light spots. The light spots spread to the 70th level, where there was only one light spot. Above the 70th level, there were no light spots. Lin Longyao brought everyone to the front of the stone tablet. He smiled and said, "The light spots on the stone tablet represent the number of people in the array pagoda. You can clearly see the record of the array pagoda." Lin Fuxin's big eyes blinked. She immediately noticed that on the first level, all the light spots were red. Only one light spot was white. "Uncle, why is this light spot white? It's different from the other light spots." Lin Fuxin pointed at the white light spot and asked curiously. Lin Longyao smiled and said, "Our Lin family's direct descendants token to enter the pagoda is different from the token to enter the pagoda for outsiders. As long as it is a disciple of the Lin family, A red dot will be displayed in the pagoda, while this white dot represents the token of outsiders. Oh, so that's how it is. Then this white light spot is the Tao rune, Lin Fuxin suddenly realized. Whether it's a mule or a horse, I think we'll know soon. I'm looking forward to this junior reaching the 100th level. Lin Longyao laughed mockingly. Heavenly Devil, Evil King, and Hybrid Demon King's faces were ugly. They stared at the white light spot, feeling nervous. Zhuowen's strength was indeed very strong. However, it did not mean that his array Tao level was also strong. If he failed to pass the pagoda, they would all lose face. Not only Lin Longyao and the rest were paying attention to the stone tablet, many of the Lin family's disciples were also surrounding the stone tablet. They were also paying attention to the white light spot. Their eyes were filled with schadenfreude. Just now, the news of Zhuowen's bold words about wanting to pass the 100th level of the array pagoda had unknowingly spread among the crowd. Many of the Lin family's disciples were scolding Zhuowen for being too arrogant. There were even many gossips around, secretly belittling Zhuowen. They all hoped that Zhuowen would fail. Then, when he came out, they would wantonly ridicule this brat who did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. Heavenly Devil, Evil King frowned slightly. He looked at Lin Longyao, who was opposite him. He guessed that the Lin family's disciples knew about this news. It was most likely that Lin Longyao purposely leaked it out. Zhuowen, who had entered the array pagoda, naturally did not know that many people in the outside world were looking down on him and cursing him. He was currently on the 1st level. What a magical array pagoda! Zhuowen stood on the spot. He discovered that the surrounding environment was not the space within the pagoda. Instead, it was formed by many densely intertwined rays of light. Zhuowen was not unfamiliar with these rays of light. They were all formed by array Tao energy in a certain pattern. Moreover, in this space, he could clearly feel the intense array Tao ripples and Tao rhymes. However, the array Tao ripples and Tao rhymes on the 1st level of the array pagoda were very thin. To a god array Tao master like him, it was basically useless. Chapter 4004. The 2nd level was similar to the 1st level, but the array formation ripples and Taoist rhyme were slightly stronger. Zhuowen did not stop there. He followed the invisible stairs and went up. 10th level, 20th level, 30th level, 50th level. When he reached the 50th level, Zhuowen felt a slight pressure. This pressure was contained within the array formation ripples and Taoist rhyme. Zhuowen knew that this pressure existed on every level of the formation pagoda. It was just that his level of formation Tao was too high, so when he was below the 50th level, this pressure was negligible to him. That was why he didn't feel it. As the number of floors increased, the pressure also increased explosively. When he reached the 50th floor, Zhuowen finally felt a trace of it. This pressure is still too weak for me. Let's continue up. Zhuowen shook his head and continued to climb up the stairs. His speed did not change at all. He did not slow down at all because of the increase in levels and the increase in pressure. At this moment, in front of the stone tablet, in the plaza, many disciples of the Lin family were in an uproar. Damn, are my eyes playing tricks on me? This guy has already reached the 50th level, and his speed did not slow down at all. Where did this kid come from? His array formation skills are so high that he can reach the 50th level, and it looks like he's still going up. The disciples of the Lin family were in a heated discussion. The gloating in their eyes faded away and was replaced by shock. Lin Fu's eyes widened even more. She muttered, "Although this guy is good at bragging, he still has some ability." Lin Longyao frowned slightly. He was obviously surprised that Zhuowen could reach the 50th level. However, he quickly relaxed. So, What if he reached the 50th level? When he made a bet with this kid, he said that he would reach the 100th level. That was the top level of the tower. Even their ancestor could not do it. He did not believe that an outsider could do it. Zhuowen naturally did not know about the reactions of the outside world. He climbed the stairs without stopping at all. His speed was very uniform. Although the pressure grew stronger with the increase in levels, it was not much of a hindrance to him. When he reached the 70th level, he started to feel some pressure. The array Tao spirituality here was much denser, which was of some help to Zhuowen. However, he knew that this was not enough. Thus, he raised his right foot and immediately climbed to the 71st floor and even higher floors. However, the moment he left the 70th level, the square outside was in an uproar. This guy actually reached the 70th level. This is Lin Jingtian's record. How did he break it so easily? Looks like we've underestimated this kid. Eldest senior brother is still in the alternate space on the 70th level. Once this kid surpasses him, eldest senior brother will probably sense it immediately. Lin Longyao frowned slightly, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. He didn't expect this Zhuowen to be able to pass through the 70th level. Could it be that this kid's level of array, Tao, has already reached the peak of the 7th level of the heaven-crushing stage, or the 8th level of the heaven-crushing stage? The most talented descendant of the Lin family, Lin Jingtian, was a god array Tao master at the peak of the 7th level of the heaven-crushing stage. However, he only managed to reach the 70th level. Although this record was set a long time ago, and Lin Jingtian might be even stronger now, Lin Longyao's face was still dark when he saw that this kid had stolen his limelight. Look, eldest senior brother Lin Jingtian's light spot is moving. He must have realized that his record has been broken and is planning to fight back. It's true. Eldest senior brother Lin Jingtian's record was set 10 years ago. He must have cultivated for 10 years, and he must have made some progress. He definitely won't lose to this kid. Everyone in the square was in an uproar. They all noticed that the red light spot representing Lin Jingtian started to move after the white light spot reached the 70th level. At this moment, in another alternate space on the 70th level of the Array Pagoda, a handsome young man in a green robe suddenly opened his eyes. He was the most talented descendant of the Lin family, Lin Jingtian. The badge on his waist was flickering and vibrating nonstop. This token also recorded the information of the tower. As long as someone caught up to your record, the token would immediately alert you. This was also a method used by the Lin family to motivate the younger generation of the Lin family. It would increase the competitiveness of the younger generation and arouse their fighting spirit. This way, the younger generation would have the motivation to improve, and the overall strength of the younger generation of the Lin family would increase. Lin Jingtian took out the token and scanned it with his divine thought. Immediately, he saw a strange white light spot on the 70th level. Moreover, this white light spot did not stop after reaching the 70th level. It continued to move towards the higher levels. Lin Jingtian's eyes narrowed. He knew what the white light spot meant. This was the sign of an outsider, not a member of the Lin family. Who would have thought that there would be such a genius in the outside world? It's a pity that you met me. I have cultivated for 10 years and have finally broken through to the early stage of the heaven-breaking rank 8. You are no match for me. Lin Jingtian's eyes were filled with pride. He then stood up and walked towards the stairs in the corner. He quickly climbed up. In one breath, Lin Jingtian reached the 80th level. His speed immediately slowed down, and his face turned pale. After all, his array Tao had just broken through to the heaven-breaking rank 8. It was already very good that he could reach the 80th level in one breath. He knew that in his current state, it was basically impossible for him to go further. The pressure on the 81st level was too terrifying. It was not something that he could withstand. I reached the 80th level in one breath. This outsider is definitely not as good as me. He is, at most, lingering around the 70th level. Lin Jingtian was very proud. He took out the token and looked for the white light spot. With a glance, he was immediately dumbstruck. The reason for that was because he discovered that the white dot of light had already ascended to the 90th floor at some unknown time. How is this possible? Where did this guy come from? How did he reach the 90th level? Lin Jingtian exclaimed. That was the 90th level. In the entire Lin family, only Lin Longyao could reach the 90th level. The other array, Dao Divine Masters of the older generation, could not do it. However, an outsider had done it so easily. Who was this guy? At the 90th level, Zhuowen's face turned solemn. This was because he realized that the pressure was starting to affect him. A mere 90th level is not enough to stop me. Zhuowen shook his head. He stepped forward and reached the 91st level. It was obvious that this time his speed had slowed down. The pressure on the 90th level had indeed created some obstacles for him. However, it was not enough to stop Zhuowen. He continued to move forward slowly. Finally, he stepped onto the 99th level. Boom, boom, boom. Instantly, the entire space was filled with thunderous explosions. The terrifying array Dao ripples and Daoist rhymes were like the most violent waves in the world. They swept across the area and drowned Zhuowen. Chapter 4005. 90th floor? Could it be that my eyes are playing tricks on me? On the square, the disciples of the Lin family gathered around the stone tablet, after a short moment of silence, erupted into a monstrous clamor like a tsunami. Everyone found it hard to believe that a mere outsider could reach the 90th floor of the formation pagoda. Was this heaven-defying? He actually reached the 90th floor. Although this guy likes to brag, he really does have some ability. Lin Fuxin's jade-like hands lightly covered her cherry lips, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. Lin Danshan's pupils shrank, while the smile on Lin Longyao's face froze and faded by a lot. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King looked at each other and couldn't help but reveal a smile. Master really didn't disappoint them. He actually reached the 90th floor. Looking at this situation, perhaps he really could reach the 100th floor, thinking of the wonderful expressions on Lin Longyao and the others' faces if Zhuowen really reached the 100th floor of the formation pagoda. The two of them were filled with joy, and the previous depression had completely disappeared. He does have some ability. Unfortunately, I bet with this kid on the 100th floor. As long as he doesn't reach the 100th floor, it's useless no matter how high he reaches. Lin Longyao naturally saw the expression on the faces of the two and coldly snorted. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King frowned slightly, but didn't say anything. In their hearts, they hoped that Zhuowen would definitely reach the 100th floor and completely slap Lin Longyao's face. Look, the white light spot is moving again. How is this possible? It's already above the 90th floor. How can his speed still be so fast? Suddenly, an extremely violent clamor came from the field. Then, under everyone's incredulous gazes, the white dot of light rushed up to a higher level at a rather fast speed. 91, 92, 95, 97, 98. In the end, the white light spot stopped at the 99th floor, and the entire square was completely silent. 99th floor. This was the record of their Lin family's ancestor. But what kind of status did their Lin family's ancestor have? He was a heaven-breaking level 9 array master, standing at the peak of the entire Hushu region. Yet, a mere outsider junior had actually ascended to the 99th level. This was simply too illogical. How did he do it? Lin Fuxin and Lin Danshan could no longer hide the shock on their faces. They stared at the white speck of light as their bodies stiffened, as if they had been frozen. Lin Longyao, on the other hand, was dumbfounded. His face suddenly became gloomy, and his heart was a little flustered. He didn't think that Zhuowen would be able to reach the 99th level. Doesn't this mean that Zhuowen's talent in arrays is not weaker than the Lin clan's ancestor? One had to know, being able to ascend to the 99th level, one's future accomplishments were bound to reach heaven-breaking rank 9. This was a true super genius. Inside the tower, Lin Jingtian, who was on the 80th floor, stared at the token in his hand. His body trembled as he knelt on the ground and muttered to himself, "How is this possible? Apart from the ancestor of our Lin clan, there is actually someone else who can reach the top. The 99th floor. That's impossible." Lin Jingtian could not believe what he was seeing, but he had to believe that someone had reached the 99th level of the array tower, and it was an outsider. Suddenly, Lin Jingtian noticed that the white speck of light in the token did not completely stop. Instead, it started to move again. His pupils constricted as he thought of an unbelievable possibility. Is this person trying to reach the 100th level at that moment, on the 99th floor? Zhuowen naturally did not know that his performance had caused an uproar in the outside world. He stood in the alternate dimension on the 99th floor, frowning slightly. The pressure here was extremely terrifying. It was as if the entire sky had collapsed, pressing down on his body, making him feel extremely pressured. Crack, crack, crack. With every step he took, there would be the sound of his bones dislocating. It was extremely horrifying and ear-piercing. However, Zhuowen laughed heartily. The array formation Taoist rhymes here were too rich. The rolling Taoist rhymes were like high-quality nutrients, nourishing Zhuowen's understanding and understanding of arrays. His comprehension ability was already very terrifying. As he continued to comprehend these Taoist rhymes, his array Tao level invisibly increased rapidly. As expected of the array pagoda, with such powerful Taoist rhymes, cultivating array formation here is simply twice the result with half the effort. Zhuowen was drenched in sweat, but his eyes shone with an unbearable light. It was as sharp as a knife, as vast as the sea, and extremely deep. Being surrounded by such powerful Taoist rhymes, his array formation skills were improving rapidly. It did not take long for his array formation skills to rise from the early stage of the heaven-breaking level 8 to the peak of the heaven-breaking level 8. As he continued to improve his array formation skills, he became more and more proficient in dealing with the pressure here. Ha ha! What a great place! Zhuowen roared with laughter. At this moment, his bent back had suddenly straightened, and he was like a pillar that could hold up the heavens and the earth, causing him to be extremely extraordinary and formidable. After his array formation skills rose to the peak of the heaven-breaking level 8, he was finally able to completely resist the terrifying pressure on the 99th floor. If the 99th floor of the array pagoda can bring me such a surprise, then what about the 100th floor? Zhuowen's gaze landed on the staircase in the corner, his eyes bursting with an excited light. Perhaps, after he entered the 100th floor, he might be able to directly raise his array formation skills to the heaven-breaking level 9. Thinking up to here, Zhuowen suddenly took a step out and walked up the first step of the staircase. Immediately, a horrifying pressure swept over like a storm, crushing down on Zhuowen's body one after another. Zhuowen gave a muffled groan, a trace of blood seeping out of the corners of his mouth. But the excited light in his eyes became stronger and stronger, walking up step by step while laughing loudly. His injuries became more and more severe, but his laughter became louder and louder, more and more rampant. How can a mere 100th floor's pressure stop me? Zhuowen raised his head to the sky and laughed loudly. Suddenly, he took several dozen steps in a row, crossing that step of the staircase, and entered the 100th floor. Puchi, the moment he entered the 100th floor, the pressure instantly increased several times. Zhuowen suddenly fell to the ground, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Zhuowen's gaze was solemn. He immediately sat cross-legged on the ground. Rolling god-fiend power surged, turning into clouds that surrounded his body, protecting him from being eroded by this pressure. At the same time, he greedily comprehended the powerful Taoist rhymes of this 100th floor. The Taoist rhymes here were really too rich. Zhuowen practically didn't need to carefully comprehend and could continuously improve his array formation skills. If he comprehended seriously, the speed of his array formation skills would reach an extremely terrifying level. According to this speed, he would probably be able to completely comprehend the heaven-breaking level 9 array formation skills within a few hours. Chapter 4006. Just as Zhuowen was in the process of comprehending the Tao, the square outside was in an uproar. The 100th floor. This guy entered the 100th floor. Oh my God. Since the establishment of our Lin clan, other than the first-generation ancestor, no one else has entered the 100th floor. Now that countless years have passed, someone actually did it, and it's an outsider. In the square, everyone was discussing animatedly. Their voices were deafening, as if a bomb had exploded among them. The noise was simply too loud. As expected of Master, as he said, he really entered the 100th floor of the Formation Pagoda. The heavenly fiend Evil King and the hybrid Demon King were stunned at first, then revealed looks of endless admiration. Now, the two of them were completely convinced by Zhuowen. Not only was the latter's strength monstrous, far surpassing the two of them, but his array Tao had also reached an unprecedented level. He was simply a monster among monsters. Lin Longyao's face was very stiff, as if he had seen a ghost. Family head. This. Lin Danshan carefully came to Lin Longyao's side and reminded him softly. Lin Longyao came back to his senses and said in a deep voice, "I'm fine. It seems like I underestimated this Tao rune. He is really a genius." Although Lin Longyao was unwilling, he had no choice but to admit that Zhuowen was a true genius. After all, to be able to reach the 100th floor and surpass their Lin clan's ancestors' record, what was he if not a genius? If they did not admit it, wouldn't they also deny their Lin clan's ancestors' record? Lin Danshan and Lin Fuxin looked at each other and sighed softly. In the end, things had developed to this stage, which was far from what they had expected. They still remembered how the young man was spouting nonsense at that time, and no one believed what the young man said. Now, when they thought about it, they only felt a burning pain on their cheeks. The young man was not boasting, but he indeed had the ability to do so. It was them who had mocked him without realizing it. Whoosh! Suddenly, a strong wind sound came from the depths of the Lin clan. Everyone looked up and immediately saw a white-haired old man in a long robe walking in the air. The old man had the demeanor of an immortal white hair and a youthful face. His entire body was full of energy, and with every step he took in the air, a clear formation appeared in the void under his feet, as if it was connected to the heavens and the earth. The square, which was originally noisy, instantly quieted down a lot when the old man arrived. The moment when the Lin clan's disciples saw him, they were filled with reverence. The 75th Lin clan's Lin Longyao greets the ancestor. Lin clan's ancestors. Lin clan's ancestors, 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 ancestors. The old man was the ancestor of the Lin family. He was also one of the few heaven-breaking Level 9 divine formation masters in the Hushu realm. They SSS. S's SSSSSS. Lin Yashin only nodded at Lin Longyao, but his sharp eyes were still fixed on the white light spot on the stone tablet. He pointed at the white light spot and asked in a low voice, "Who is this?" Lin Longyao's eyes flashed, but he still answered honestly, "Ancestor, his Daowen, he's from the Liyuan main region." Someone from the Liyuan main region to be able to pass the 100th level of the formation pagoda. Excellent, excellent. He's an unprecedented genius. Lin Yashin's eyes shone with divine light, and his voice was calm but with a hint of excitement. Lin Longyao's face was gloomy. He knew that every time Lin Yashin showed such an expression, it meant that he had taken a liking to Daowen and would probably take him in as his last disciple. At that time, as long as the old man was happy, he could even remove him from the position of the Lin clan's head and let this outsider be the new head of the Lin clan. However, Lin Longyao was also helpless. He knew very well that the person who really made the decisions in the Lin clan was never him, but the ordinary-looking old man in front of him. He controlled the life and death of everyone in the Lin clan. If he wanted you to live, you would live. If he wanted you to die, you would die. Let's wait for him to come out first. Lin Yashin stood silently with his hands behind his back. His eyes were fixed on the 100th level of the formation pagoda, and there was a strange light flashing in his eyes. The heavenly devil evil king and the hybrid demon king frowned slightly. They felt that the atmosphere was a little strange, especially Lin Yashin's eyes. It was as if he was looking at a rare treasure, which gave them a bad feeling. When Zhuowen passed the 100th level of the formation pagoda, not only was the square shocked, but the disciples of the Lin clan, who were originally in the formation pagoda, were also shocked. Almost all the disciples of the Lin clan who were in the formation pagoda chose to leave the formation pagoda. They all wanted to know who had passed the 100th level of the formation pagoda. Lin Jingtian was also among them. His face did not look good. Not only was his record broken by the white light spot, but the white light spot also broke the records of many people in the Lin clan like a hot knife through butter. In the end, it surpassed the record of the Lin clan's ancestor. It reached the 100th level. This made Lin Jingtian feel a sense of defeat, so he wanted to know who this guy was. However, when Lin Jingtian left the formation pagoda and came to the square, he saw Lin Yashin surrounded by people. "Ancestor, I didn't expect the ancestor to be alarmed." Lin Jingtian was shocked. He knew that the ancestor of the Lin clan was extremely secretive and mysterious. Now that he had come out of seclusion, it was obvious that he was here for the white light spot. Thinking of this, Lin Jingtian felt a little jealous. "Jingtian, you're out too. Come and greet the ancestor." Lin Longyao's eyes were sharp. When he saw Lin Jingtian, he immediately called him over. Lin Jingtian did not dare to delay. He quickly rushed over and bowed respectfully to Lin Yashin with a look of admiration. Lin Yashin looked at Lin Jingtian and nodded. "After so many years, you have improved a lot. Your formation skills are already at the early stage of heaven-breaking rank 8. Work hard, and it won't be a problem for you to break through to heaven-breaking rank 9 in the future." Having said that, Lin Yashin looked at the formation pagoda again, his face full of anticipation. Chapter 4007. On the 100th floor of the formation pagoda, countless formation Dao runes transformed into sharp and bright rays of light. interweaving into extremely complicated light trajectories. Zhuowen's expression was calm as he sat on the 100th floor. His eyes were bursting with a light that was difficult to look at. Waves of indescribable powerful Dao runes overflowed from his body like layers of powerful tsunamis, surging out violently. It was very impressive. This formation pagoda is really magical. Such rich formation Dao runes actually allowed my formation Dao level to reach such a level in just a few hours. Zhuowen's heart was filled with joy. His formation Dao level improved extremely quickly. In just a few hours, he went from mid-stage heaven-breaking level 8 to half-step heaven-breaking level 9. Moreover, his comprehension had already reached the heaven-breaking stage 9 level, but the reason why he had not been able to step into the heaven-breaking stage 9 level was that he had not set up the heaven-breaking stage 9 level great formation, and the second was that he had not read the heaven-breaking stage 9 level formation records. If he could read the heaven-breaking level 9 formation Dao book, his formation Dao level would be completely perfected, and he would be able to set up a heaven-breaking level 9 formation immediately. From then on, he would officially step into the ranks of heaven-breaking level 9 formation Dao Divine Master. Thinking of this, Zhuowen revealed a playful smile and muttered to himself, "Now that I have ascended to the 100th floor of the formation pagoda, according to the Lin family's rules, you must agree to one of my requests. You must not refuse." The Lin family's heaven-breaking level 9 formation Dao book. You won't refuse to let me read it this time, right? Zhuowen slowly stood up. He silently looked around at the countless formation Dao runes around the 100th floor of the formation pagoda and said in a low voice, "It's time to leave." After speaking, Zhuowen took out a token and pinched a seal. Then, the token burst out with a blazing white light. These white rays of light transformed into white lines that interweaved into an extremely profound formation, forming a circle around Zhuowen's body. Then, under the light of the formation, Zhuowen completely disappeared from this place. The moment Zhuowen reappeared in the square, it caused a burst of noise and exclamations. "Look, he's out. So this is what the white dot represents. He doesn't look very old. This person looks a little ordinary. I can't see anything special about him. How did he manage to pass the 100th level of our Lin family's array tower?" The gazes of a considerable number of Lin family disciples fell on Zhuowen in unison, and they discussed while pointing at him. Zhuowen frowned slightly. He didn't expect that there would be so many people watching him as soon as he came out. This made him feel a little strange. What he didn't know was that his performance in the array pagoda was clearly seen by these people through the stone tablet. Zhuowen immediately saw the heavenly devil evil king and hybrid demon king standing in front of the stone tablet. At the same time, he also saw an old man with an immortal aura. Behind the old man, Lin Longyao and Lin Langshan were respectful and submissive. He glanced at the old man and walked toward the heavenly demon evil king and the hybrid demon king. Wherever he passed, the surrounding Lin family disciples subconsciously made way for him, not daring to be impudent. Just like that, Zhuowen calmly walked to the front of the stone tablet. The surrounding Lin family disciples were all staring at Zhuowen with different gazes. Lin Jingtian frowned slightly. He was not convinced, especially when he saw that Zhuowen didn't look like much. His dissatisfaction grew even stronger. "Sir," the heavenly devil evil king and the hybrid demon king quickly went up to welcome him. Now, the two of them were completely impressed by Zhuowen. It was fine if he was so strong, but they didn't expect his array skills to be so heaven-defying. The two of them couldn't help but be impressed. Zhuowen nodded and then looked at Lin Longyao. He smiled faintly and said, "Patriarch Lin, now that I have passed the 100th level of the array pagoda, what do you think?" Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Suddenly, Everyone's eyes fell on Lin Longyao. Other than Lin Danshan, the heavenly demon evil king, and a few others who knew about the bet between Lin Longyao and Zhuowen, no one else knew about it. Lin Yashin couldn't help but frown. He turned to look at Lin Longyao and asked, "Longyao, what's going on?" Lin Longyao was a little embarrassed and told him about the bet between him and Zhuowen. After listening, Lin Yashin nodded and didn't take it to heart. In his opinion, Zhuowen didn't have a strong background. How precious could the most precious thing on him be? The Lin family was the #1 array family in the Bright Mist Main region. They had a strong foundation and were rich. Naturally, they didn't care about the compensation for the bet. What Lin Yashin really cared about was Zhuowen. "Dawen, I won't go back on my word about the bet. Now, let me introduce you to the patriarch of the Lin family." Lin Longyao's expression was solemn. He pointed at Lin Yashin beside him and continued to say to Zhuowen, "He's our Lin family's patriarch, Lin Yashin." Lin Yashin had a faint smile at the corners of his mouth. He looked at Zhuowen and said, "Young friend, I heard Longyao mention you before. You're called Dawen, right? If I'm not wrong, young friend Dawen, you haven't cultivated for more than 10,000 years, right? You're so young, yet you can pass the Tower of 100 Tower. On the 100th floor of the Formation Pagoda, you are the most talented formation master I have ever seen. Senior, you flatter me. I'm just lucky," Zhuowen said with a faint smile. Lin Yashin naturally didn't believe Zhuowen's words. What a joke! If he could ascend to the Tower of 100 Tower with good luck, wouldn't that mean that many disciples of the Lin family could do it? According to the rules of our Lin family, young friend Dawen, since you can pass the Tower of 100 Tower, you can make a request of our Lin family. Our Lin family will try our best to satisfy your request," Lin Yashin said with a smile. Zhuowen's eyes lit up as he said with a faint smile, "Senior, you're straightforward. I only have one request for coming to challenge the Tower of Formation this time. I wish to read all of your Lin family's heaven-breaking 9-array Dao manuals." Lin Yashin wasn't surprised by Zhuowen's request. He nodded and said, "This request is very reasonable. Our Lin family can naturally satisfy you. Longyao, you should also honor your bet. If you're willing to bet, you must be willing to lose. Don't embarrass our Lin family." Lin Longyao hurriedly stepped forward and then looked at Zhuowen with a complicated gaze. He said, "Young friend Dawen, according to the bet, I only need to give you something of equivalent value to the most precious thing on you. May I know what the most precious thing on you is?" Lin Longyao didn't take the contents of the bet to heart. He had never felt that Zhuowen would have anything precious on him. Chapter 4008. The originally leisurely Lin Yashin's expression changed drastically as he looked at the purple divine sword in Zhuowen's hand in disbelief. Lin Longyao's expression froze as he stared at the purple divine sword and exclaimed, "This is a rank 6 astral weapon? How could you have such a powerful treasure?" As soon as these words were spoken, the entire plaza was in an uproar. A rank 6 astral weapon was an extremely rare treasure in the entire Hushu realm. No one would have thought that this mediocre kid would actually possess such a powerful and precious treasure on him. I'm not dreaming, am I? How could this kid have a rank 6 astral weapon? Lin Fuxin and Lin Danshan were dumbfounded. The heavenly devil evil king and the hybrid demon king had long known that Zhuowen had a rank 6 astral weapon, so when they saw Zhuowen take it out, they did not reveal any surprise. There was only deep admiration in their eyes. They thought to themselves that their lord had already thought of this result, as expected of their lord. The purple gold divine sword was like a docile puppy as it revolved around Zhuowen's body. The blazing purple gold light was like the strong light of the rising sun as it enveloped Zhuowen's body, causing him to look like a mighty god that had descended to the mortal world. At this moment, Zhuowen spoke again. "Patriarch Lin, I know you are a man of your word. I believe you will definitely not break the contract, right?" Lin Longyao was furious when he heard this, but he did not dare to flare up. After all, many Lin family disciples were watching, and this bet was agreed upon in advance. If he broke the contract in public, how would others look at him as the patriarch? And he was almost unwilling to compensate with a treasure that was as valuable as a rank 6 astral weapon. It was too precious. Even if their Lin family had a deep foundation, after so many years of accumulation, they only had one rank 6 astral weapon. Moreover, it was something that their Lin family regarded as a clan treasure. It was impossible for their Lin family to easily hand over that thing because of the bet. Just as Lin Longyao was in a dilemma, Lin Yashin spoke. "Little brother Daowen, you are right. Our Lin family will keep our word, and naturally will not break the contract. You can rest assured about this. But you also know that a rank 6 astral weapon is extremely important after all. Our Lin family can also take it out, but it will take time. How about this? I will take you to our Lin family's Formation Dao Pavilion first. Almost all of our Lin family's formation manuals are stored there, including the Heaven 9 Formation Dao manual that you need." Lin Yashin was indeed a big shot who had lived for countless years. He quickly covered up Lin Longyao's predicament, and his suggestion was reasonable. A faint smile appeared on Zhuowen's face as he nodded and said, "All right, I believe the Lin clan won't go back on their word. Then let's go to the Formation Dao first." Lin and was. This mountain range covered an extremely large area, almost the same size as Lingyun City. Numerous peerless peaks, shrouded in clouds, and mist stood within. What surprised Zhuowen even more was that these peaks were arranged in an extremely strange pattern. It was as if they were in a cycle, growing and multiplying endlessly. The moment he stepped into the mountain range, Zhuowen immediately sensed that there were several peerless formations within the mountain range. Every formation was absolutely extraordinary. However, these formations were all closed and had not been activated. The Formation Dao Pavilion is at the center of the Lin family mountain range. This is our Lin family's most secretive forbidden area. Ordinary Lin family disciples are not qualified to enter. Lin Yashin stopped in front of the mountain gate. His gaze was slightly emotional as he continued. "It is precisely because this is an important place for our Lin family that our ancestors set up many great formations here to ensure the safety of this place. Little brother Daowen, follow me. Come together. The rest of you wait outside the mountain gate." After saying that, Lin Yashin entered the mountain gate. Zhuowen did not hesitate and followed closely behind. On the other hand, Heavenly Demon Evil King, Hybrid Demon King, Lin Langxin, and the rest consciously waited outside the mountain gate. They did not dare to have the slightest intention of overstepping. The route of the Lin family mountain range was extremely complicated. Lin Yashin led Zhuowen through many twists and turns. It was as if they were walking through a maze. The complexity of the route was almost extreme. Along the way, Lin Yashin did not say a word. He silently led the way in front. Zhuowen naturally would not start a conversation. The two of them walked silently, one in front and one behind. Finally, the two of them came to the most central peak. On the peak of the peak stood an extremely luxurious palace. The palace was resplendent and occupied a large area. It was filled with flowing light and colorful patterns. Obviously, there were many formation runes and Taoist rhymes condensed around the palace. On the door in front of the palace, there was a plaque hanging. On it were written the words Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion. Every word was written in bold and powerful strokes. Little brother Dawan, we have arrived at the Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion. This is the key to enter the Imperial Book Pavilion. You only need to insert this key into the groove of the stone door. The door of the Imperial Book Pavilion will naturally open. Lin Yashin took out a jade key from his bosom and handed it to Zhuowen with a faint smile on his face. Senior, aren't you going to enter the Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion with me? Are you so trusting of me? Zhuowen did not take the jade key. Instead, he asked in return. Lin Yashin shook his head and said, I'm not going in. I've entered this place no less than thousands of times. I've basically read all the books inside. It's boring to go in again. I'll just wait for you outside. As for little brother Dawan's character, I naturally believe in you. You have to. Zhuowen looked deeply at Lin Yashin, took the jade key, and nodded. Then thank you, Senior. After he finished speaking, Zhuowen strode into the palace. After he inserted the jade key into the groove, the door of the palace rumbled open. After Zhuowen entered the palace, the door slowly closed. Lin Yashin looked at the closed door, and a sharp light shot out from his eyes. He muttered to himself, Dawan, Dawan, you're still too young. I didn't expect you to be so easily fooled. I don't need to spend any other effort. After he finished speaking, Lin Yashin put his hands behind his back and left. Lin Yashin did not deceive Zhuowen. This was indeed the Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion. All the Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion of the Lin family were stored inside, including the heaven-breaking 9-stage Array Formation Imperial Book. However, Lin Yashin had concealed a part of the truth. That was the many great formations set up in the entire mountain range, and even the Formation Dao Imperial Book Pavilion were all under his control. Without his permission, it was wishful thinking for anyone who entered the Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion to want to leave. The moment he entered the Array Formation Imperial Book Pavilion, Lin Yashin knew that Zhuowen had completely become a bird in his cage. Without his permission, Zhuowen would not be able to escape. Chapter 4009. Ancestor. Did Dao enter the Array Dao Imperial Library? When Lin Yashin returned to the mountain, Lin Longyao and Lin Danshin hurriedly went up to him and asked. He just entered the Array Dao Imperial Library. Lin Yashin smiled. Lin Longyao was overjoyed, but Lin Danshin's eyes flickered. Heavenly Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King naturally noticed the different expressions on their faces and felt a little strange. They were puzzled. Why was Zhuowen so excited after entering their Lin clan's forbidden ground, the Imperial Study Pavilion? This really puzzled them. Senior Lin, how long will it take for Master Dao to enter the Array Dao Imperial Library? Sky Fiend Evil King asked Lin Yashin. Lin Longyao and Lin Danshin looked at Sky Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King strangely. The Heavenly Fiend Evil King naturally felt the strange gazes of the two, and a sense of foreboding arose in his heart. Lin Yashin put his hands behind his back, and a mocking smile appeared on his face. How long will it take? If you don't have this seat's permission, Dawan will be imprisoned in the Formation Dao Imperial Book Pavilion for the rest of his life and be trapped inside forever. What? Sky Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King's eyes widened. They were not idiots. They could tell from Lin Longyao and the others' attitude and Lin Yashin's words that the Lin family had come with ill intentions. Senior Lin, what is the meaning of this? We came to the Lin family with respect. Is this how you treat Master Dao? One Hybrid Demon King said angrily. The three of them had entered the Lin family and had never done anything that crossed the line. They did not expect Dawen to be plotted against by the Lin family. Naturally, they were furious. Lin Danshan lowered his head, not daring to look at Sky Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King. To be honest, he was the one who invited them into the Lin family. Now that something like this had happened, he felt ashamed. However, he had no choice. This was decided by the Lin family's ancestor, Lin Yashin. He had no right to decide. Lin Yashin looked at Sky Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King indifferently and sneered, "Not only Dawen, but you two will also stay in the Lin family forever. After today, you two will not be able to leave this place." Just as Lin Yashin finished speaking, many figures appeared around the Lin clan mountain range. All of them had extremely vast and powerful auras. There were more than 10 of them. When the celestial demon Evil King saw them, his face turned ugly. He discovered that they were all God-Devil transformation experts, and there were even 3 peak God-Devil transformation experts. The weakest of them was at the mid-stage of the God-Devil transformation realm. Experts. Ancestor Lin, I really didn't expect that after so many years, you would actually use the promise we made to your Lin family back then. Did you gather all of us just to take down these 2 people? Among the dozen or so people, the 3 people at the front stepped forward and came to Lin Yashin's side. One of them, a middle-aged scholar with fair skin, said with a faint smile, "Linya's Lin, these 2 people are not simple. After all, our Lin family is only a family of formations. Our cultivators are not very strong. Therefore, we need your help." Lin Yashin replied calmly. These people were not from the Lin family, but from the other factions of the Bright Mist Main region. But they all owed Lin Yashin a favor, so Lin Yashin had the right to gather all of them to help him 3 times. Lin Yashin had not used these favors for so many years, and this was the first time. After all, Sky Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King were not weak, especially Sky Fiend Evil King, who was at the peak of the demonic transformation. If not for these peak demonic transformation experts working together, it would be very difficult to take down Sky Fiend Evil King. The Heavenly Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King's expressions were ugly. They hadn't expected Lin Yashin to be so resourceful, gathering so many Fiend God transformation experts. There were even 3 peak Fiend God transformation experts. Both of you, a wise man submits to circumstances. As long as the 2 of you swear to the heavens that you will serve my Lin family for 10,000 years, I, Lin Yashin, will not do anything to you. 10,000 years later, you too will be free. Lin Yashin put his hands behind his back and looked down at Sky Fiend Evil King and Hybrid Demon King. Lin Yashin, I did not expect you to be so despicable. You are called the #1 divine array master below Huxley. I must have been blind to have respected you so much. Sky Fiend Evil King said with a gloomy face. Lin Yashin looked at Sky Fiend Evil King coldly and said, "Sky Fiend friend, you mean you don't want to submit to my Lin family? F***CK, your mother." Sky Fiend Evil King cursed. "Since that is the case, we have nothing to talk about. Fellow Li, these 2 evil cultivators barged into my Lin family's imperial library and tried to steal my Lin family's supreme secret. I hope that fellow Li and the rest of you will not hold back and capture these 2 people." Lin Yashin smiled coldly and said to the middle-aged scholar, "And the rest?" "Hee. Old Ancestor Lin, you are too polite. These 2 people are so unfilial, we need to teach them a lesson." The middle-aged scholar grinned, and a terrifying aura burst out from him like a tidal wave, sweeping across the sky. It was as if everything was frozen in place. The moment the middle-aged scholar unleashed his aura, the other 2 peak Fiend God transformation experts beside him also unleashed their auras. "Kill!" the middle-aged scholar, and the other two split into 3 different directions and rushed towards Sky Fiend Evil King. At the same time, they also released their fiend gods, shaking heaven and earth. The moment the middle-aged scholar and the other two attacked, the rest of the fiend god transformation powerhouses rushed towards Sky Fiend Evil King. They also understood that the celestial devil fiend king was at the peak of the fiend god transformation stage. With the 3 of them working together, they would only be a hindrance. You are courting death. Sky Fiend Evil King was enraged, and a monstrous demonic aura burst out from his body like a black storm, spreading across the sky. Then, a giant wolf head and human body rushed out from the void behind Sky Fiend Evil King, and with a long howl, it rushed towards the middle-aged scholar and the other two. The middle-aged scholar and the other two naturally didn't hold back. They commanded their own 3 gods to form a triangle and completely surrounded the celestial fiend Evil King's wolf-headed, human-bodied god. Roar! Sky Fiend Evil King was extremely tyrannical, and its aura was terrifying to the extreme. Monstrous demonic aura billowed out, covering the 3 fiend gods in one fell swoop. The wolf-headed man clenched his claws together, and then fiercely slammed them towards the middle-aged scholar and the other two's hammers. A powerful force exploded, and a series of terrifying explosions resounded in the air. Chapter 40:10. What's going on? How can this celestial demon king's god be so strong? The middle-aged scholar frowned. Logically speaking, the celestial demon king was at the pinnacle of the fiend god transformation realm, just like the 3 of them. But in reality, the 3 of them were no match for the celestial demon king's god, even if they joined forces. What they didn't know was that if the celestial demon king's god was at the same level as the 3 of them, he wouldn't have such terrifying strength. But it's a pity that the celestial demon king's god has been reborn. This is a new god created by Zhuowen using the power of the purple tree. It's a god that far surpasses the ordinary gods. Within the same realm, no other god can match it. It's on par with it. The celestial demon king was shocked. This is the first time he's faced an enemy after his rebirth. Lord Daowen is too amazing. The new god that was born for me is so strong. The celestial demon king's respect for Zhuowen grew, and his hatred for the Lin clan that trapped Zhuowen in the Imperial Library grew. While the 3 of them were still in a daze, the celestial demon king launched a thunderous attack. His entire body shot out like an arrow from a bow. His speed was so fast that it was almost like a meteorite falling from the sky. In an instant, he appeared in front of the middle-aged scholar. The expressions of the middle-aged scholar and the other two changed greatly. They all erupted with powerful fiend god power to resist the heavenly fiend Evil King. But what shocked the 3 of them was that the heavenly devil Evil King's power was stronger than the 3 of them combined. They were actually being beaten back. You're not at the pinnacle of the fiend god transformation realm, but half a step into the ancient star transformation realm. The middle-aged scholar shouted in shock and anger. The corner of the celestial demon king's mouth curled up into a cold sneer. When their god was reborn, their cultivation rose to a new realm, half a step into the ancient star transformation realm. His strength has reached a terrifying level. How could an ordinary pinnacle fiend god transformation realm cultivator be his opponent? On the other side, the 10 fiend god transformation experts were already engaged in a fierce battle with the hybrid demon king. Of these 10 experts, 3 of them were in the late phase of the fiend god transformation realm, while the remaining 7 were in the middle phase. They all released their fiend gods, and their killing intent soared to the skies as they unleashed their strongest attacks. Hybrid Demon King, you're dead meat. The one leading the charge was a hunchbacked old man. His aura was vast and boundless. He was a late-stage fiend-god transformation expert. The hunchbacked old man's god-fiend was also quite extraordinary. It was a huge black skeleton. This black skeleton was surrounded by black flames and had a crown on its head. Its aura was extremely vast. The hybrid demon king's expression was cold. He also released his own demon god. His demon god was a huge warrior wearing black armor. This fiend god was extremely ferocious. As soon as it appeared, it stomped on the air and shot into the sky like a black meteor. Clang! The black-armored warrior leapt into the air and appeared in the middle of the 10 fiend gods. With a whoosh, it unsheathed the long blade at its waist. With a wave of its right hand, it seemed like an extremely skilled swordsman. The black blade vibrated at high speed and drew a mysterious arc in the air. The 10 fiend gods surrounding the black-armored warrior seemed to have stopped in midair. They did not move at all. After a short moment of stillness, the 10 fiend gods howled in pain and were sent flying. Among them, 7 of the weaker gods and devils were sliced into countless pieces by the strange saber light and completely dispersed. As for the other 3 fiend gods, they retreated with injuries all over their bodies. At the same time, the hybrid demon king moved as well. He instantly appeared in the middle of the 10 fiend god transformation experts. His weapon was also a long blade. His blade technique was extremely sharp, like lightning in the night sky. It flashed past so quickly that it was almost invisible. The 7 fiend gods, who had lost their fiend gods, suffered from the backlash of their fiend gods and revealed an obvious opening. The hybrid demon king took advantage of this opening and quickly slashed out 7 times. Instantly, the terrifying blade light cut the 7 fiend gods into 8 pieces. Even their souls were destroyed. The other 3 late fiend god transformation experts narrowed their eyes and retreated without a second thought. Old Ancestor Lin, your information must be wrong. This person is not a late fiend god transformation expert. He is a peak fiend god transformation expert. The stooped old man shouted at Lin Yashin as he retreated. The difference between a late fiend god transformation expert and a peak fiend god transformation expert was only a small stage. However, the difference in strength was huge. Even if the 3 of them worked together, they were not confident of being a match. In addition, the hybrid demon king's fiend gods were so strong that they were shocked. Didn't they see the 10 fiend gods retreating and 7 of them being killed? Even a peak fiend god transformation expert would not have such strength. Lin Yashin, who had been waiting for the result, naturally saw the scene in front of him. He was completely stunned, and his expression changed greatly, especially when he saw the heavenly demon king and the hybrid demon king's strength. His expression became very ugly. Long Yao, didn't you say that the heavenly demon king was only at the peak of the fiend god transformation? Is the hybrid demon king only at the late fiend god transformation? What's going on now? Lin Yashin suddenly looked at Lin Longyao and scolded. Lin Longyao did not expect the situation to turn out like this. His body trembled as he said, I have investigated the 2 of them. Their cultivation did not change at all. Why did they suddenly improve? I'm not sure. Lin Yashin coldly snorted as he looked at the middle-aged scholar and the others who were retreating. He knew that if he did not act now, these people would all be killed by the heavenly demon king and the hybrid demon king. Everyone, don't panic. This old man will help you. Lin Yashin took a step forward and floated in the air. With a wave of his sleeve, a black array disc was thrown out by him. At the same time, Lin Yashin formed hand seals with both hands. Numerous complicated hand seals surged out of his hands. Like countless fish, they landed on the black formation discs. These array discs were arranged in a very orderly manner. After the runes appeared on the surface of the array disc seemed to come alive. A strong aura shot up into the sky and pierced through the sky. Then, with Lin Yashin as the center, an extremely powerful array ripple rapidly appeared in a radius of thousands of miles. These formation Dao ripples intertwine with each other in an extremely complicated pattern, eventually forming an extremely terrifying formation. Within the formation, countless lotuses burning with golden flames appeared. These lotuses were densely packed together, and when they combined together, they transformed into two gigantic golden lotus dragons. As soon as these two dragons formed, they roared and rushed towards the hybrid Demon King and the Heavenly Demon King, respectively. Chapter 40:11. Roar. The two raging lotus fire dragons roared as they charged towards the Heavenly Demon Evil King and the hybrid Demon King. Their huge bodies were made up of countless fire lotuses. Their immense dragon aura poured out in an invincible manner. Bang! Bang! In the blink of an eye, the fire dragons collided with the Heavenly Demon Evil King and the hybrid Demon King. Flames and demonic chi swept up and filled the entire array. It looked very strange and powerful, but to Lin Yashin's surprise, the two seemingly powerful fire dragons were still suppressed by the Heavenly Demon Evil King and the hybrid Demon King's divine demons. How can the divine demons of these two be so powerful? Lin Yashin's gaze became very grave. He took a deep breath and formed a seal with both hands. Even more complicated formation, runes surged out from his hands like a fairy scattering flowers. They fluttered and spread out in all directions. The surrounding space suddenly surged with even more powerful array ripples. Like a monstrous wave, they rushed up to the sky and swept around the raging lotus fire dragon array. At this moment, the two fiery lotus dragons had been completely destroyed by the two fiend gods and had been reduced to countless fiery fragments. Humph! Heaven-breaking 9 steps array, divine spirit array of the 4 symbols. Lin Yashin snorted and formed the last seal with his hands. Suddenly, the surrounding array changed, and its aura became even more terrifying and condensed. Around the array, 4 different colored lights burst out. These 4 lights became more and more intense and condensed. Finally, 4 tall and mighty giants appeared in the 4 lights. The aura of these 4 giants was so vast that it was almost beyond the range of the divine demon transformation. The middle-aged scholar and the others who had retreated to the edge were shocked when they saw the 4 giants. The aura of these 4 giants was too vast and powerful. If they were to face these 4 giants, they would not be able to last more than 3 moves. Is this old ancestor Lin's most famous array, the divine spirit array of the 4 symbols? This is the heaven-breaking 9 steps array. It is said that no one can escape from the ancient star transformation. It is a supreme array in the entire radiant mist main region. The stooped old man muttered in horror. He muttered to himself, with the existence of this formation, these 2 people are dead for sure no matter how strong they are. The middle-aged scholar said in a rather relaxed manner. At this moment, the 4 giants immediately rushed over. 2 of them immediately engaged in a fierce battle with the 2 gods and devils. The terrifying ripples of the battle were enough to topple mountains and overturn seas. It was extremely frightening and terrifying. The other 2 giants rushed towards the Heavenly Devil Demon King and Hybrid Demon King. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King's faces finally changed. The 4 symbols' divine spirit formation was too powerful. The aura of the 4 giants was so terrifying that it made them tremble with fear. especially when they saw that their two powerful fiend gods were actually completely suppressed by the giant. They were practically being suppressed. Fear rose in their hearts. Boom. However, the two of them didn't have time to think because the two giants had already appeared in front of them. They each threw a punch at their vital points. Puchi, Puchi. The two of them used all their strength to block the giant's attack. However, they were extremely passive and were blasted away. Blood spurted out from their mouths. They were seriously injured, and their faces were as pale as snow. At the same time, the two gods and devils were also retreating. They were also letting out miserable shrieks. The attacks of the four symbols' divine spirit formation became more and more terrifying. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King couldn't block it at all. In the process of passively resisting, they were constantly injured, and the injuries on their bodies became more and more serious. In the end, the two gods and devils were almost defeated and returned to their bodies. The two of them were dripping with blood and were on the verge of death. The four symbols' divine spirit formation surrounded the two of them and looked down at them. However, they didn't continue to attack. Lin Yashin slowly landed on the shoulder of one of the giants. He looked at the two of them and said with a faint smile, "You two, do you know how powerful my Lin family is? If you know what's good for you, submit to our Lin family now. Our Lin family will not treat you unfairly. We will." Lin Yashin's heart was filled with love for talent. The strength of Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King was truly beyond his expectations. This was especially true for the Heavenly Fiend Demon King, who was already half a step into the Ancient Star Transformation realm. His strength had already reached an earth-shattering level. In the entire Hushu realm, perhaps only the Hushu clan would be able to find an existence stronger than him. Lin Yashin naturally didn't want to kill such a talent like this. He wanted to subdue them and make them serve the Lin family. Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King sneered and remained silent. Lin Yashin saw their expressions and knew that they didn't intend to submit to the Lin family. He frowned slightly. "Long Yao, Danshin, tie them up and lock them in our Lin family's dungeon." Lin Yashin said lightly. Lin Longyao and Lin Danshin didn't dare to delay. They took out the god-binding rope and tied up Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Demon King tightly. Then they ordered people to take them away. Old Ancestor Lin is indeed the most powerful divine formation master in our Radiant Mist Main region. He easily set up a heaven-breaking level 9 formation and took down these two people with ease. The middle-aged scholar, the hunchbacked old man, and the remaining 6 people quickly came forward and praised Lin Yashin. However, their eyes were filled with fear and awe. Although they had long known that Lin Yashin was a heaven-breaking Tier 9 formation Tao master, they had never seen him in action. Now that they had seen it, they finally knew how powerful Lin Yashin was. Not to mention the heaven-breaking Tier 9 formation 4 Divine Spirit formation, just the peak heaven-breaking Tier 8 formation Raging Lotus Fire Dragon formation that Lin Yashin set up in an instant was enough to trap them. At least most of them would die, and a few of them would barely be able to hold on. After a long time, they would still die in the Raging Lotus Fire Dragon formation. Lin Yashin naturally saw the fear and awe in the eyes of the middle-aged scholar and the others. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He cupped his hands and said politely to the 6 people, "The 6 of you have worked hard this time. If it weren't for you, our Lin family wouldn't have been able to capture these 2 traitors. Defy. Later, I will order someone to give each of you a heaven-breaking Tier 7 formation disc." The middle-aged scholar and the others were pleasantly surprised. They did not expect Lin Yashin to reward them, even though They did not help much this time. The 6 of them admired and respected Lin Yashin even more. The moment they entered the Imperial Book Pavilion, the door slammed shut. Zhuowen revealed a cold smile and muttered in a low voice, "Lin Yashin, I hope you are a smart person. Otherwise, I, Zhuowen, will not be courteous to your Lin family." After entering the Imperial Book Pavilion, he had already sensed that there were several powerful killing and trapping formations set up in the Imperial Book Pavilion. Once the door of the Imperial Book Pavilion closed, the cultivators in the Imperial Book Pavilion would not be able to escape. Chapter 40:12. Zhuowen no longer thought about Lin Yashin. His gaze was fixed on the rows of huge bookshelves in the Imperial Library. Every row of bookshelves was filled with books. At a glance, all of these books were related to the Array Dao. Zhuowen's eyes lit up. The Lin family was indeed the number 1 array formation family in the Radiant Mistmane region. The array formation books in the Imperial Library were really rich. They were much richer than Hongwu Shengzhen's. The moment he entered the Imperial Library, Zhuowen's divine consciousness spread out like a huge net. He found that the Imperial Library was divided into 9 areas. The area he was in was the area near the entrance of the Imperial Library. It was also the outermost area. Other than this area, the other areas were sealed by powerful restrictions. Zhuowen's divine consciousness could not enter the other 8 areas. Furthermore, Zhuowen discovered that the bookshelves in the outermost region were all heaven-breaking level 1 array Dao manuals. In other words, the deeper one went, the more advanced the array formation books would be. With Zhuowen's current array Dao standards, unless it was a heaven-breaking level 9 or above array Dao scripture, it would be completely useless to him. Zhuowen walked forward slowly. Soon, he arrived in front of the restriction in the 2nd area. Zhuowen formed a seal with his hands. Instantly, the restriction energy in the 2nd area dissipated. It was easily broken by Zhuowen. Zhuowen did not stop. He walked straight into the depths of the Imperial Library. With his array formation skills, the restrictions in the first 8 areas did not hinder him at all. After a while, Zhuowen entered the 9th area. The 9 areas were not big. There was only 1 bookshelf in each area. There were not many array formation books on it. They were scattered in the bookshelf. However, Zhuowen's eyes shone with excitement. He knew that the array Dao manuals in the 9th region were all extraordinary. They were all heaven-breaking, level 9 array Dao manuals. The Imperial Library has a 10th area. Zhuowen circled around the 9th area. Suddenly, he discovered an extremely obscure restrictive aura in front of him. He stopped in front of the restriction and reached out with his right hand. Suddenly, a terrifying energy burst out like lightning and landed in Zhuowen's hand. Zhuowen reacted quickly and quickly retreated. At the same time, he formed a seal with both hands and instantly formed a defensive formation. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. The defensive array in front of Zhuowen instantly shattered, and he flew out with a muffled groan, smashing into the edge. Puchi! Involuntarily spitting out a mouthful of blood, Zhuowen's expression became extremely gloomy as he stared fixedly at the obscure restriction. He could clearly sense that this obscure restriction was extremely powerful. He had only touched it once, but he was already injured. This made him very shocked. One had to know his formation Dao comprehension ability had already reached breaking Heaven Tier 9 in essence, just lacking the theoretical foundation. As long as he flipped through the heaven-breaking array formation books, he would be able to advance to breaking Heaven Tier 9 Divine Array Master in a short time. A normal heaven-breaking Tier 9 formation would not be able to harm him. However, this obscure restriction, He was injured just by touching it. It could be seen that the level of this restriction might have surpassed breaking heaven tier 9. Zhuo Wen's eyes narrowed as he took a deep look at the obscure restriction. He knew that since such a powerful restriction could be set up, the 10th area behind this restriction would definitely be extraordinary. However, he also knew that with his current level of formation Dao, it was impossible for him to break this restriction. Unless his formation Dao level reached breaking heaven tier 9, there might be some possibility. Thinking of this, Zhuo began to calm down and began to study the heaven-breaking 9 steps array Dao books in the 9th region. As Zhuowen's comprehension ability had already reached breaking heaven tier 9, it wasn't difficult for him to read these heaven-breaking array formation books. He read very quickly and comprehended very quickly. In just 3 days, he had finished reading all the array formation books in the 9th area. So that's how it is. So this is how the heaven-breaking array formation works. It has completely broken the previous principles of setting up arrays. On this day, Zhuowen put down the book in his hand. His eyes revealed a look of enlightenment, and a light that was difficult to look at burst out of his eyes. He stretched out his hands and slowly formed various complicated seals in the void. As his hands continued to form seals, many seals and patterns appeared in the void. These patterns and seals intertwined into divine chains of laws. They continued to intertwine and revolve, and finally formed a powerful formation Dao trajectory. Moreover, as Zhuowen continued to form seals, the formation Dao trajectory in the void became more and more powerful, almost condensing into a substance. Zhuowen set up the array formation as if he was drunk. In less than half a day, he had completely set up a heaven-breaking array formation. If other formation Dao divine masters knew about this, their jaws would definitely drop. As everyone knew, all the formation Dao divine masters who had just stepped into heaven-breaking level 9 would have to go through a long period of practice and fail many times before they could finally complete the embryonic form of the heaven-breaking level 9 formation. With continuous practice and refinement, the speed and efficiency of a formation Dao divine master would become faster and faster. The ancestor of the Lin family, Lin Yashan, had been a heaven-breaking array formation master for tens of thousands of years. He had practiced countless times, which was why he could set up a heaven-breaking array formation in 15 minutes and instantly set up a heaven-breaking array formation at the peak of the heaven-breaking array formation. However, Zhuowen was completely different. He had successfully set up a heaven-shattering Tier 9 grand array on his first try, and it had only taken him half a day. This speed was faster than any other array formation genius, and he had broken the records of countless array formation geniuses. Zhuowen waved his sleeve, and the embryonic form of the heaven-breaking array formation dissipated. Then, he continued to set up the array formation. The second time, he only took 10 hours to succeed. The third time, it took him 4 hours. Zhuowen practiced repeatedly, and on his 10th attempt, he succeeded in half a quarter of an hour. In other words, his speed of setting up the heaven-breaking array formation was faster than Lin Yashan's, and its power was no weaker than Lin Yashan's. Zhuowen stopped and slowly walked to a hidden place in the 9th district. There was an extremely high-level array formation hidden here. Before reaching the heaven-breaking array formation, Zhuowen was helpless. Now, he had some confidence, and he wanted to try to break this restriction. Zhuowen was very clear that after he advanced to the heaven-breaking stage 9, because he cultivated the primordial chant, his array Dao level would instantly surpass most of the heaven-breaking stage 9 array Dao God Masters. He had a certain chance of breaking this restriction that surpassed the heaven-breaking stage 9. Hold it! Moreover, he knew that this restriction wasn't complete. It was incomplete, and there was a flaw in it. I'm really looking forward to what's hidden in the 10th district of the Imperial Library. Chapter 4013. It had to be said that the restriction in this obscure place was extremely powerful. Zhuowen tried again and again, but he failed time and time again. However, Zhuowen did not give up. Instead, he became more courageous with each failure. That was because, as he continued to try to break this restriction, his understanding of the formation Tao also became deeper and deeper. After all, he had just advanced to the heaven-breaking level 9. Although his standard had already surpassed many heaven-breaking level 9 formation Tao divine masters, he was still a little unfamiliar with it. However, in the process of breaking the restriction, he rapidly improved his understanding of the heaven-breaking level 9 formation. Imperceptibly, his formation Tao level also rapidly improved. As his formation Tao level improved, he became more and more proficient in breaking this restriction. He gradually found the trick. Finally, after more than 20 days, a muffled cracking sound was heard. Then, countless cracks appeared on the mysterious and powerful restriction in front of him. In the end, it shattered into countless pieces. Zhuo Wen's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the pitch-black passageway before him and muttered in a low voice, "I've finally broken through the restrictions of the 10th area. I wonder what exactly exists in the 10th area." Even though Zhuowen's calmness was shocking, he was also extremely excited at this moment. The 9th zone of the Imperial Book Pavilion stored the heaven-breaking level 9 formation Tao books. The things stored in the 10th zone, which was even deeper, would definitely be more precious than the heaven-breaking level 9 formation Tao books. Zhuowen lifted his foot and stepped into the tunnel, slowly stepping into the darkness. After a short while, he arrived at the end of the tunnel and entered a dark secret room. The decoration of the secret room was very simple. There was only a ball of blue light floating in the middle of the secret room. Around the ball of light, there were dense blue thunderbolts, and they were making crackling sounds. Zhuowen looked through the blue thunderbolts and vaguely saw that inside the ball of light was the appearance of a book. What a powerful restriction. This should be a book. It's actually wrapped in 2 layers of such powerful restriction. This book is definitely not ordinary. Zhuo Wen's eyes shone with a light that was hard to look at. He could see that the lightning and the light were 2 layers of restrictions. Moreover, the level of the restrictions was so strong that it was almost the same as the restrictions that connected the 10th and 9th zones. Just as Zhuo Wen was about to break these 2 layers of restrictions, a loud and clear voice suddenly resounded throughout the Imperial Study Pavilion. "Tao Wen!" Inside the Imperial Study Pavilion, there were 108 restrictions and 49 great formations. Even a heaven-breaking level 9 formation, Tao Divine Master, would not be able to escape after the Imperial Book Pavilion closes, let alone you. Zhuowen narrowed his eyes and said coldly, "Patriarch Lin, what is the meaning of this? I sincerely came to your house to seek Tao. Is this how you treat your guest?" This voice belonged to Lin Yashin. Zhuowen recognized it immediately. Lin Yashin's voice rang out again. He said mockingly, "Guest? Tao Wen, you are too naive. After you passed the 100th level of the Formation Pagoda, you are no longer a guest of the Lin family. You are an enemy. Of course, if you pledge allegiance to the Lin family, you will be treated with the highest standards by the Lin family. In the future, you may be able to control the Lin family. Now, all you have to do is hand over your divine soul mark and swear to the heavenly Tao. I will open the Imperial Book Pavilion and let you out." Zhuowen's expression became colder. Lin Yashin really had a good plan. He wanted him to hand over his divine soul mark and swear to the heavenly Tao. He clearly wanted him to become a slave of the Lin family. "Patriarch Lin, don't go too far. Do you think I am a 3-year-old child? Do you think I will fall for such a clumsy trick?" Zhuowen said coldly, Ho ho, whether you fall for it or not, do you think you have a choice? You should know that once I activate the restriction formation in the Imperial Book Pavilion, you will not be able to survive. Lin Yashin said coldly. Zhuowen sneered and said, there are so many array Dao books in the Imperial Book Pavilion. They are the accumulation of your Lin family for countless years. If you activate the restriction formation to deal with me, won't you also destroy these array Dao books? Lin Yashin, what are you talking about? You can't threaten me. Sure enough, when these words came out, Lin Yashin immediately fell silent. Zhuowen's guess was right. Lin Yashin was indeed bluffing. The restriction formation in the Imperial Book Pavilion was very powerful, but how would he dare to really activate it? Wouldn't that destroy the Imperial Book Pavilion? The reason why he said this was only to intimidate Zhuowen, to make him cower before the battle and then obediently sign an unequal treaty with his Lin family, who knew that Zhuowen was much shrewder than he had imagined and did not fall for it at all. Humph! Even so, you can't escape from the Imperial Book Pavilion. Without my help, you will be trapped in the Imperial Book Pavilion forever. Also, the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King are in my hands. If you don't want them to die, I think you'd better make a choice. Lin Yashin threatened again. Zhuowen's eyes shot out 2 rays of cold light as he said, Lin Yashin, if you dare to kill those 2, I will destroy your entire Lin family to accompany them. Although Zhuowen did not have any feelings for the Heavenly Devil Evil King and Hybrid Devil King, these 2 were the best helpers for him to go to Huxley to save Shan Lingyun. If these 2 were to die in the Lin clan, it would disrupt all of his plans. Lin Yashin sneered and said, destroy my Lin family? With just you? You really don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I will only give you 3 days to consider. If you can't give me the answer I will destroy those 2 first. After saying that, Lin Yashin's voice gradually faded away. It was obvious that he had left the Imperial Book Pavilion. Zhuowen's eyes were cold. He looked at the blue ball of light in the 10th district. He knew that it would take a lot of time to break through these 2 layers of restrictions. Now, he did not have enough time. He had to leave the Imperial Book Pavilion first. Lin Yashin, you will pay the price for your greed. Zhuowen snorted coldly as he left the 10th district and headed towards the entrance of the Imperial Book Pavilion. With his current array formation skills, the restrictions in the Imperial Book Pavilion did not pose much of a threat to him. After a while, Zhuowen completely broke through the restrictions on the entrance of the Imperial Book Pavilion. Then, he slammed his right palm on the surface of the door. Countless cracks appeared on the thick stone door of the Imperial Book Pavilion. In the end, it suddenly collapsed into countless pieces. Smoke and dust rose as Mu Feng slowly walked out of the Imperial Book Pavilion. At this moment, Lin Yashin had just walked out of the Lin family mountain range. Then, he suddenly stopped in his tracks. This was because he heard a loud sound coming from the depths of the Lin family mountain range. He frowned slightly as his divine sense radiated out and landed in the Imperial Book Pavilion. Then, he revealed a look of disbelief.